Salina. It's a bad baby. Oak Cliff girl. Can't make you change my world. Damn, you're so fine, girl. Oak Cliff girl. Put them wheels on and roll. Welcome to Selena's Couch, where you are welcome to be free to be yourself. So you can lay your head on my couch, on my pillows. It's all good, we can do whatever we wanna do now. I'm in my bag right now, and I got a feeling, babe, yeah. You're gonna be my number one lover. Screaming like making love to each other. With the lights on top of the covers. Just me and you, babe. And I feel like you're my love you to Reese's Pieces.
Get you a word. Nana boo boo.
Hey y'all. Thank you for coming through to see what I was talking about today. Hopefully I got some good supporters in the bushes that will come out of the bushes. I'm going to do a open panel for people that would like to come up to talk about the subject or talking about anything close to what I'm talking about. So this is very strange for some of you people that are not used to this type of content. Not used to this type of content. But guys, you know, I talk about a lot of different things. So some things may be that I would say you're not used to, but it is a much needed thing that people need to talk about because a lot of this is going on. A lot of the times people say, oh, this is not real. You know, people putting love spells on other people, and in their mind, what they're doing is real. And sometimes if the person is not protected by God or whatever, they can actually get attacked from some of these things that people be kind of putting out on other people. And it's not only women that do love spells, it's men that do love spells too. If you ever wonder why some women may be digmatized, as they may say, or they may be so obsessive over a man, it's the reason sometimes besides that. It's not because they have some good dick or whatever. It could be more that they're actually dealing with. And the same with, you know, men. You know, you think this man he's so crazy about this woman. He's so obsessive. He'll do anything. Sometimes he'll even unalive the woman or even unalive himself because he can't have the woman. Sometimes witchcraft is involved in that kind of stuff. And some people will not believe it. Now, the power of suggestion, that's something that people think that witchcraft is. It's just the power of suggestion. It refers to a psychological phenomenon where an individual's thoughts, feelings, or behaviors are influenced by external cues or suggestion, often without conscious awareness. So basically, they think that that's what witchcraft is. It's just a psychological thing. It's not real. You know, it's just the individual thought or feeling that may influence somebody externally. So that is, you know, people say that, but you know, the thing of the matter is witchcraft is a very real thing. Just like there's positive entities, there's negative entities, just like there's angels, there's demons. And a lot of people will not recognize that or acknowledge that, but it is real. And for some of the people that practice witchcraft, they think it's very real. Shout out to the people in the chat. We got my girl Cece. We got EMIT. Thank you for coming through. Hey, my boy Space City. Hey, Rallo. Good to see you. Good to see you. And what did you say, MIT said, which had a curse on me, but it returned to the person. Now its curse is on them. Yes, it is. Basically, sometimes people will put different curses on other people, and it will end up coming back on them tenfold. And that's the really tricky thing. See, some people don't think that God protects certain people for certain reasons, but He does. And sometimes when that person is protected, when they try to put a spell or a curse on you, it ends up backfiring on them. And so what they set out for you, it goes back to them, and it even is worse than what they set out for you. So that's why you can't really play with that kind of stuff, because that stuff will backfire. Um, Thank you. Hey, Corey. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Glad you came through. And so you have to be extremely careful about this. Now, this is an open panel. And so I will allow people to come up if they choose to. I did pin the link at the top, but I'm going to play a few videos so that I'm not the only person that knows about this. Like, it's a lot of people that know about this. I have an ancestor. One of my great grandmothers came from Louisiana, and then they were brought over here to Texas, and they from my grandmother, I knew a lot about it because she knew about it. People even tried to do it to her, for my grandfather actually, and it's a real thing. Thank you so much, Rallo, I appreciate you so much. Let me make sure I put a heart. And so this actually happened to my one of my grandmothers. So I'm very familiar with this stuff. And like I said, plus some of my ancestry does come from Louisiana as well. And so I'm very familiar with it, and I know that it's real, and I know that people should not play with this at all. Yeah, and you have to, some people say resend it to the sender, but like I said, a God has a law called reaping what you sow. So anytime that you do it to other people, it's gonna really come back and backfire on you. So that's definitely something that people need to consider, so they won't go out and do that to other people. And thank you for those who sit up there and liked my video. Hey, CX, that you will press the like button that you on some of my shorts. I noticed a lot of people view them, but they don't press the like button. So I know it ain't that many haters. Somebody need to press the like button. But shout out to the person that took me to the Rangers game. That was my very first time going to the Rangers game. So I thank the person so much for giving me that opportunity. I'm not really a baseball fan. I do have a distant relative that plays professional football, but I am never been into not football, baseball. I've never been into baseball, period. But it is so much more exciting when you go and see it for yourself, rather than seeing it on TV. So I had a great time. Me and the person, just like I said, he was just a really nice event, and I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to go. So I'm going to share this video with you guys, and I'm going to stop it, and then I'm going to see what you guys think about it. Like I said, you are more than welcome to come up if you have something to share based on these topics that I'm talking about. And but don't think this stuff is real. This stuff is very real. And this is let me make sure I do my her name is Priscilla Boyd, and is he using love spells on you? And I'm going to make sure I say my fair use, so nobody won't be flagging me. But it says fair use, copyright under section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. As allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. So this is under fair use. I'm using this for educational purposes.
It didn't end up in a good relationship, or it was a toxic relationship, or it only, end up being like a hookup type of situation.
Can y'all see it? Okay, y'all can't see this.
doing little
Yeah.
special stuff for you, but yet it still hasn't blossomed and developed into what you really truly desired it to be. But yet you still hooked on this person and dealing with this person. And maybe because they're laying tricks. Men,
Okay, let me play it back because I'm not sure y'all heard that. I think this is a male. I'm not sure, but he's talking. I'm assuming this is a male, but he's talking about how men use black magic on women. So that's what he's talking about right now. So let me play this.
the ones that you have been connected to, but the situation really didn't get anywhere. Like it didn't end up in a good relationship, or it was a toxic relationship, or it only, end up being like a hookup type of situation. Look, let me tell you, these men be laying tricks, honey. Look, they speak in intentions because men understand too that energy. Men understand that energy transfers and that everything vibrates. And so because of that, when these men been doing little special stuff for you, but yet it still hasn't blossomed and developed into what you really truly desired it to be, but yet you still hooked on this person and dealing with this person, it may be because they're laying tricks. Men can, you know how we always want a man to bring us some food. What if before he bought that food, he told that food, make sure she give me some sex? You know what I'm saying? What if, before he bought you that drink, that weed, you know what I'm saying? Before he lit that candle, before he sprinkled them rose petals on the floor, that he didn't set those intentions before he poured you that glass of wine.
So is that the power of suggestion, the definition that I read earlier, or is that actually witchcraft? If I go back to that definition on what power of suggestion is, let me see. Let me go back. Power of suggestion is the psychological phenomenon where an individual's thoughts, feelings, or behaviors are influenced by external cues or suggestions, often without conscious awareness. So this is a influence can be subtle, persuasive, impacting everything from a personal choice, experimental outcomes. Okay, so is this witchcraft or is this power of suggestion? Another thing that is, I would say, power of suggestion is also like reciting things in the mirror about how what you want out of life. Like, say for instance, you could say, I am CC. I am beautiful inside and out. Or I am CX. I am rich. I am rich monetarily as well as I'm wealthy with my family or something like that. You could recite something like that in the mirror. That's to me is more power of suggestion. But power of suggestion and witchcraft is two totally different things. Black magic, so black magic is more to harm a person, to manipulate a person's, I would say, feelings, or behavior. Where power suggestion is more as maybe affirmations. So you guys tell me what y'all think about that.
Or liquor, or gave you that X pill or that Molly or whatever you do to get your go. See, we've been sitting here like, oh yeah, men. Why do you think men do things for us?
Hey, Tamika.
They're constantly giving us tokens of something of them so that we are programmed to them. Be careful, ladies. These men are really tricky. And I know a few that, they would never admit it, but hey, I know the spell work they done tried to put on me to try to keep me around. I'm no different from no other woman.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. She is a woman. Okay. I didn't know if she was a man or a woman. So, like I said, men do it just as much as some women do. Some men do believe in spells and things of that nature. So women not the only ones that they talk about putting blood in spaghetti. You know, they can use a sperm. They can also do spells with candles and things like that. Those that are into that. So sometimes you may be thinking you may be dealing with a regular man, but he may be a whole warlock out there to get your poom poom. You know what I'm saying? Or out there to control your mind. So you may be thinking you dating a nice guy from church or a nice guy that you met at the grocery store. And this guy has already got his eyes on you and want to put his fangs in you. And he's doing everything that is black magic to keep you hooked on him.
So guess what that means? If they do it to me, they done did it to other women. I wasn't the first, and if I was the first, I was definitely not the last. So pay attention, women. It's a reason why we turn into putty in the men's hands. And it ain't because we digmatize, or if we digmatize, what did they do to digmatize us? Because half of them sex game is mediocre, to say the truth. But it's still not just sex. I'm telling you, they doing magic. Pay attention. Look, don't get digmatized and don't get put under the spells, okay? Get your
Yeah, you definitely have to be careful the people that you I would say fellowship with, you're intimate with. You gotta pay attention, ladies and men. Like I said, they put it all on women at one point that we are the only ones that do this kind of stuff when we want a man, but men do have done it before as well. And you just have to be truly careful about this because like I said, people actually, if you go online and put in love spells, you will have people to show you how you can put love spells on other people. Me personally, I ain't doing none of that. First of all, I don't use the devil's tactics to get what I want. If it ain't meant for me to be, it ain't meant for me. Okay. So, but some people, they want so much control and they can't get it the right way, or they can't maybe accept that it might not be in the cards for them. And they'll go out there and use other powers, that can get them what they want. But see, what they don't realize that the powers that they're using, they come back for repay. They come back to pay for you to pay up. It could be with your life, it could be with your peace. So when you're dealing with these type of entities, and you better be careful because they're coming back to get what you owe them. So, and sometimes your life could be at stake. So don't take this stuff lightly. And when people are really weird and spooky, pay attention to that. And even the people that are not weird and spooky, it could be a person that is just as humble and nice and just a all around guy or woman that you think is so nice. They could be the worst thing you could ever meet. And I talked about that the other day before. So these people do believe in this stuff, men and women. They put love spells in on YouTube. You'll see how many people show you how to do love spells on other people. That stuff is weird.
But a lot of men do it too. And I found that out
Thank
because
you, Tariq.
somebody who was
Yeah.
close
Hey,
to me
Scorpio.
told me
How are
that they did
you?
it. And that was the person that I least expected to do something like that. And the reason why he told me, which I found was so weird, why he was even telling me in the first place, was because he wanted to try to prove to me that if he wanted to sleep with me, that he could, like he could do a spell to make me sleep with him. And I'm like, no, you can't. You
Mhm.
cannot make me do nothing that I don't want to do. And if you do anything or try to do anything to me to make me want to sleep with you, that's witchcraft. That's manipulation. So he was showing me a picture of this girl that he was talking to, and was like, you know, she have a boyfriend or whatever, whatever. He said, but if I wanted her to sleep with me, I could. And he was like, if I wanted you to sleep with me, I could. And he starts to explain to me how he would go about doing it. He takes out his wallet and he shows me something in his wallet. It's like, I don't know what it was. It looked like some kind of gel paste thing. I don't know what it was. And he told me all he has to do is rub that thing, ask it for what he wants, and it will do it. And he starts talking about how he does candle work. He has candles that he lights, and he would speak into the candles, and the candle flame will get bigger. And
Yeah, and people do that. They go to these special shops. I forgot what they're called. Botanica. Most Hispanics know what that is. Botanica is basically where they have a lot of the different things that people use, like for Santeria, some other rituals that's used in black magic. They have these special candles. They are different kind of colors. So whatever you're wanting, they have a different color for whatever you want or whatever you're praying for. So you get those particular candles, and they speak over those candles, and they make these what do you call that? They make it kind of like a where they have other little statues up there. They might have something written in the middle, and they have the candles going. But basically, those are some of the rituals that they do. Now, hey Gary, how I learned a lot about this was, and this is the craziest thing. Yes, I do a lot of research on stuff like this, but I also watch a lot of Nigerian movies when I used to watch Netflix a lot. And a lot of those Netflix movies I would say Nollywood, and basically that's just Nigerian movies. They talk a lot about witchcraft. And some of them really, especially in West Africa, really all over Africa, but I'm talking about more of West Africa. They do a lot of witchcraft, as far as like they do different rituals to get certain things. And some of the men, if you see a man, not all the time, some of it's hard work and some of it's just charisma and good looks, but some men that have like a lot of women or have a lot of money, they have sometimes did certain witchcraft to gain that. Not all, but some. And it is true, because there has been many testimonies of people that have been in that type of lifestyle that have gotten out of it. And some of the way that they got those things were going through some of those rituals that they had to do. Some of them put certain things on their penis. And when they put certain things on their penis and they have sex with a female, that woman becomes hooked. That woman becomes obsessive and basically becomes his sex slave. So they put certain things on their penis. They put things on money when they give people money. So that's why you got to be careful about handling money from other people. I mean, this stuff is really wild. So a lot of this stuff is not the power of suggestion. Some of this stuff is really something spiritual behind this stuff. And they're using these negative entities to get certain things. But like I said, when you use those things, you better make sure you're very careful, because they will backfire and come back on you. And it's not just some of the West African people that do it. It's all over the world, but a lot of that, the voodoo and the even some of the hoodoo, which people think that's not basically natural medicine. That's more, it's to do with nature. Some of them in hoodoo use certain types of different concoctions and all of that. Because I remember when my grandmother was telling me, she was telling me about it was a woman that tried to put hoodoo on her. And so that's what they called it hoodoo. And it's they say it's some type of folklore magic. That's what they say. Hey Russell, I'm gonna put a spell on you, Russell, huh? But anyway, they do some type of and they call it folklore magic. Voodoo is more of a religion, but they do use a lot of rituals and some magic as well. Santeria is Caribbean, an African, Spanish kind of thing. Some people, are into Santeria. They also do spells, rituals, and stuff like that. Um, it's just a weird type of thing if you really research this stuff. But like I said, how I got introduced to some of that, as far as like what it is, because I knew, like I said, from some of my family history, and then and also looking at the Nollywood movies, and then doing my own research on myself. So I was trying to uh figure out what is this. But yeah, hoodoo and voodoo are two totally different things. So I want to make that clear. Voodoo is more of a religion. Hoodoo is folklore magic. It's dealing with nature. It's basically a lot of black people, African people, even maybe some Caribbeans that have Spanish. They know a lot more about hoodoo, especially in New Orleans, Louisiana, uh, and then Alabama, Mississippi. If you go like down south, they know about hoodoo. That they know they know a lot about hoodoo down there in the south, like in the real south, like Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, that kind of thing. And then voodoo, like I said, is a religion. Haitians, it actually that came from Africa too, but of course a lot of people always associate voodoo with Haitians, because Haitians do a lot of the voodoo too. But hoodoo to me is more of like spell work, where people do the spells and stuff like that. My grandmother told me about how someone took some of her hair, I think put it in a snake's mouth in a jar. So I guess to make her go crazy. So people, like I said, they do those type of spells. It's weird. It's really weird. So I'm not trying to offend anybody if anybody does this, but at the same time, it's weird to me. Because I don't understand it. And then some of the things I understand, I'm like, you going through all of this when this stuff can backfire on you. But that's just my opinion. To each his own. I don't, it teaches on. I feel like you just have to be careful.
Some whatever, some word shit. And he's like, oh, but this is not evil because I use Bible verses. A lot of witches and warlocks, other people who do voodoo, who they use the Bible to do evil. So then
facts. And you cannot use God's word, and or if you think it's God's word, you can't say you believe in God and then you using also mixing it with the devil stuff. You can't do that. And some people don't even think that what they're doing is of the devil. But the thing is, with God, it's only right or wrong. And if you're not dependent on him for your strength, your faith, or your answers, but you dependent on other things like like I said, people believe in these spells and all these different type of crystals and stuff like that. You can't mix the two. Just like you can't mix dirty water with good water, or you can't mix you can't put good wine in old skin, in the old wine. You can't mix the two, because the devil and God don't mix. You know what I'm saying? They just don't. And so you'll have some people in the church, you think they're old Sister Mary, old Sister Shirley, old brother Deacon James, and and you don't know what them people into. They could be into the very thing that the church speaks against. So a lot of these religious leaders and people in the church, they're very hypocritical. They're very fraudulent, because they use some of the same tactics that the Bible and God is against. So you have to be careful for even those people in the church that seem all nice, and people that seem they so religious and all of that, because you don't know what these people are on.
He's like, he could do something to make me dream of him, or any girl that he wants, to make them dream about him, like to plant himself in the dream, and he can have sex with the person in their dream, and that will make them want to have sex with him in real life. And I'm like, what kind of freaky voodoo ass shit is this? Like, why would you even want to do that? If you meet somebody and the person does not want to sleep with you, why would you go as far as trying to manipulate them spiritually to want to sleep with you? What really like threw me off is the fact that he kept saying, "Oh, if I wanted to sleep with you, I could do that to you. If I wanted to sleep with you, I could do that to you." For him to say that and constantly keep repeating it, you cannot be trusted, because it's almost like you have it in your mind that you want to sleep with me because I'm not entertaining you in that way. You're willing to go as far as putting my name in a candle and speaking to the candle and rubbing your hand on some kind of thing to put yourself in my dream, to try to manipulate my dreams, or just manipulate me spiritually to try to get me to sleep with you. And after he tells me this, I'm looking at him weird. He's like, "Oh, don't look at me like that. I don't want you to think of me in no kind of way." I do think of you in a different type of way now, because I never thought that you would be the kind of person to do that. Because he doesn't look like the type of person to do that, a lot of people wouldn't think that he would do that. And that's why, as a woman too, as a man, you have to be careful who you sleep with, because you might be sleeping with somebody who might be dibbling and dabbling in some kind of weird spiritual, voodoo, ritualistic, occult kind of thing that you don't know about. And now, because you sleep with that person, you open yourself up to whatever it is that they're.
See, that's what I'm talking about. It's called demonic attachments. That's why I always talk about, people say, well, only women have soul ties. No, soul ties go both ways. They go men to women. So women to men. Or man to man, or woman to woman. You're going to have soul ties, whether it's through saliva, whether it's through semen, whatever, blood, whatever. So when you have people like that, they be hooking up, they don't even know who they hooking up with. Like, they just know that, oh, this sister fine. She got a big booty, she got big titties, or whatever. And you sleep with this woman and you don't know what she on. Is she really a nice young lady or whatever? She just somebody that look good. That you could be sleeping with a whole witch. And the same for a woman. You cannot be fooled by how people look or what people say, because you could be intertwining with someone and you wonder why 5 years later you can't get away from this person. This person is always on your mind. If you in another relationship, you're always thinking about this person. This person is somebody you even compare the person you're with now. Sometimes it could be not only soul ties, but it could be that person that you was with could have put something on you that keep you attached to her or him. And so when you have moved on physically, but you haven't moved on spiritually or emotionally, you're still entrapped in that other relationship that you was in. So you compare that person, even though you done long gone left that person, you still compare the person that you with that person. That person's always on your mind. You can't stop thinking about them. Sometimes it could be because it is some type of witchcraft that a person has put on you. And again, men and women do it. Witchcraft is equal opportunity. It's not just women. So I don't want people to say that it's not just black. It's not just white. It's people in universal in the country, not in the country. You sometimes use witchcraft. So you cannot be too careful. You definitely need to be careful about the people that you yoke up with in any type of form or fashion, because you don't know what you're entertaining.
Doing. After that day, I never spoke to him again.
Hey, Golden.
Never spoke to him again, because that just threw me off completely. And I think it was the next day I can't remember if it was a dream or a vision of a black Bible with a snake in it. And God reminded me of him when I saw that. So I don't really know what the significance of that is, but I think that was God's way of telling me that he wasn't using the Bible for good. He thinks that he is, but he was using the Bible for evil. But yeah, be careful out here, because a lot of the times these things are not written on people's faces. Somebody can look very much normal. He's a normal looking person, very much normal, and you don't know what they're doing behind closed doors. A lot of people get themselves into some spiritual stuff that they don't even realize that is opening doors to a lot of demonic activity because they're thinking that it's not evil, because just because you don't call on a demon or you're not calling on Lucifer, that does not mean it's not evil. There are different types of evil. There are different doors. There are different levels. So just because it may be level 1 does not mean that if you don't get deeper and deeper and deeper, you will not get to level 5, because that's how it starts. You open a door, but somebody would go and sleep with him, and now all of a sudden your whole life falling apart because you sleep with somebody who's basically a warlock. Because that's what.
See, hey 973, what's up, twin? Hey, Goldson.
What he basically is, a male witch.
One of my mutuals asked me, how do you know somebody put a love spell on you? And it made me want to tell my story about how I found out that someone put a love spell on me. So 2016, summer 2016, I met this guy in a random grocery store, and I absolutely was just not interested in him. But he knew my brother, he knew my mother, and he was very well known in the community for being like, I don't know, like the second coming of Dr. CB or something. So I was absolutely not attracted to him whatsoever. It was all for superficial reasons, but it doesn't matter. It was my free will. I was not attracted to him, and I was not interested in dating him. But he had a God complex, and he did not believe that anything he desired, he couldn't attain, including people. So at the time, I was dating someone else who just so happened to be a student of his. So needless to say, the guy that I was dating held him to a high regard. I did not care because I did not put him on a pedestal because I did not know him and I did not care about him. So I told him, like, I'm dating someone else. I'm not interested, blah, blah, blah. He was very persistent, definitely laid it on very, very thick, and told me that, well, I'll always be a friend to you if you ever need anything, if you have any questions. So like I said, he is very educated and knowledgeable about health and wellness, and, he made a name for himself. So fast forward a few months, my ex and I are no longer together. We broke up in a very tragic, tumultuous way, which I actually do believe he has something to do with. I think he did a breakup spell. That's another story for another day. The first person that popped in my head, mind you, I don't like this person, never thought about this person. First person that pops in my head is like to confide in was him for some crazy ass reason, right? So I call him, I'm frantic because of what I found out, which is how me and my ex broke up. I am literally like in shambles. And he's like, come over, tell me, like, we can talk about it in person. I'll make you some tea, da, 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 da. So I went over, I was in a very vulnerable state. And I now know that he had began working on me already. And that's why he was the first person that popped in my mind. But at the time, I had no explanation as to why I was at this man's house. But when I left, I called my cousin. The first thing that came out of my mouth is, I think this man just put a spell on me. It felt like I was hit with a ton of bricks, and all of a sudden, this was the man of my dreams.
See, did you see what she said? She wasn't even. And thank you so much for the super chats. I really appreciate you guys for showing me some love. That it's kind of hard sometimes bringing content for people, and especially when it's not something that they particularly into. But I appreciate you guys just coming and pressing the like button as well. You see what she said? She said that she was not attracted to him. And all of a sudden, she gave him some leeway, right? She gave him a chance just to, share her vulnerabilities of what she was going through. And it hit her like a ton of bricks. Now she wanted the man. Where do you think that came from? So does witchcraft, or hoodoo, does it give you, like, does it manipulate you to feel a certain way or have certain behaviors where normally that you wouldn't have? So this is what she's saying. Something happened where she didn't want the man, all of a sudden she wanted him. Let's keep going.
This 5'6", 100-pound man was all of a sudden the man of my dreams. And I was conscious enough to know that something wasn't right, but I wasn't mature enough in my spirituality to know what to do about it. And I was also very, very vulnerable at the time.
Sex is the highest energy that you're ever going to create, right? It literally creates life. When y'all having sex with people and you're saying, this is my plea, that's a spell. And you say, and you tell him,
who else do we have to say that?
About Pastor Brian Meadows.
Pastor Brian said that.
A pastor said this?
He said that. He said that exact thing.
That's a spell. A lot of men, and that's what I mean. Men practice witchcraft all the time on these women. That's why these women go crazy. And he's like, oh, you acting crazy. Well, you told her, this is my pussy. She said yes. And now you are tethered. And you don't even know why you're going crazy because that guy treats you like crap.
Tethered.
That's the soul tie. That's
You see that? Soul ties. It's not just for women. Men have them too. That's just like if a woman say, that's my dick, right? And you say, yes, so she putting a spell on you. Some people say it's the power of suggestion. Some people say it's the word spell. So who knows? But either way, sex is worship. Most people don't see it like that. Sex is a covenant. What did people do back in the biblical days when they wanted to be forgiven for their sins? They had to cut, I would say, cut into a sheep, or and the blood would have to spill on the altar. The priest had to do that. The blood would have to spill on the altar for forgiveness of their sins in the Old Testament. When a woman, whether she's a virgin or not, a man's penis goes into her, whether she bleeds or not, they're going into covenant with each other. That's worship. And a lot of people don't see it that way. They're just like, oh, it's just sex. I'm just having fun. But every person that you intertwine with sexually, you're having a covenant with them. You know, you're a part of them in some type of way. Every person. So that's why you shouldn't take, what you do with your body and do it so frivolously and so impulsively. You know what I'm saying? Because you could be connecting with a witch, a warlock, a whole demon. That's a shapeshifter. You don't know what you're dealing with. You could be dealing with a crazy lunatic. And then after that, you can't get rid of them. You can't get rid of them. Sex binds people, whether people believe that or not. Men don't believe that. Even though they can cut their emotions on and off when it comes to sex, that still binds you spiritually with that woman. That's just my opinion. And from looking at what soul ties are, it's not just for women. So that's just my opinion.
tethering is the soul tie. Y'all literally made a pact. Sex is the highest energy that you're ever going to create, right? It literally creates life from sex. So if you are saying chants, because that's literally what that is, while you're having sex, that is a whole ritual. He owns you until you break that soul tie, which most people don't even know how to break the soul tie. They don't even know that they have one. They just are living with it.
You wonder why you crazy about a man that doing you wrong. That man got a spell on you. You can't let him go. You can't let him go. Every time you try to leave, when you talk to him, he put them words in your ear. Them words are spell. The spell's still working. Every time you take him back, the spell gets stronger and stronger until you start getting depressed, stressed out, losing your mind, crying every day. You don't put on makeup no more. You don't dress up. You don't even comb your hair. You don't even go out no more. That man got you tied down with a spirit. I'm telling you now, there's a demon holding you down all day long.
So soul ties, when you interchange with each other like that, that man goes into your womb, right? So also, not only is it physical, it's spiritual. So that means that whatever he has going on in his life, his spirit or his spirits, they also attach to you and vice versa. So it's not just one way. So whatever you are allowing in with your, you're allowing him in with your peen, with his peen, and his spirits, whatever he has going on, it transfers to you. And I don't care if you're wearing a condom or not. You're still engaging with each other sexually. You're still going into a woman's vagina, into her womb. So forget all about the plastic, because the plastic can only protect so much. It may protect you from getting pregnant, but it doesn't protect you from soul ties. And that's why you get some of these men that lose their mind, because these women think, well, I'm just going to do this little harmless love spell, and it ain't going to, it's just going to make him love me more. And that thing end up backfiring on that woman. And that man is obsessed more than he's ever been. Anything she does, he's there. He's trying to control her. He's obsessed with her, and he ends up unaliving her and unaliving himself. Not all the time. Some men are just crazy. But some men, some women, when they just think they doing a little love spell, it ain't no big thing. I just want him to love me more because he been cheating on me. So I want him to love me more and want to be with me and only have eyes for me. And you trying to manipulate it with dark forces, and that thing gonna end up backfiring on you. And that goes the same way with a man. So you can't use the devil's devices and think you're going to have nothing to repay. You're going to have to repay it. The devil always comes to collect. So if you're going to use it, be aware. It's not just a little something, a little love thing. It's something that you're doing in the spiritual realm that you're trying to manipulate in the natural realm. And that's why a lot of people have a lot of problems, because not only just in their love life, but just in just life in general, because you opened up the door to the other side. And the other side is not the good side. It's the other side that is demonic, that is dangerous, that is evil. So just be careful, y'all. That's all I'm telling you. That's why I'm very cautious of the people I deal with. And you better be cautious with what you sleep with too, who you sleep with too, because you don't know what you wake up, you think you okay, and all of a sudden you start getting crazy and obsessive. That is not of God. That is not of God. That is something that is very demonic. You shouldn't be obsessed with anyone. You should love people that you love, but possession is totally different.
Make you feel like you're nothing. However he feel inside, that's how you feel it. So if he can devalue you, he can make you sit still. He know you ain't going nowhere. He know you ain't gonna do nothing with your life, but wait on him. He gonna drain you until you ain't got nothing left. And he gonna leave you for another woman. Now you're gonna be sitting there crushed and broken. I'm telling you.
Let's talk about how you can know somebody is doing a love spell on you or have done love working. Let's say you ain't talking to nobody, but all of a sudden you get this overwhelming, intense amount of emotion, or you feeling this strong urge of love, but it ain't nobody around. Let's say you start getting to know somebody, and then all of a sudden you start to get the urge to do things that you would normally do, or settle for or go for things that you normally would not settle for or go for. You could be even possibly becoming very submissive to ideologies or things that this person wants to do with you that you normally wouldn't do. Every little thing could be reminding you of them. Pay attention to your dreams, because they might show up in your dreams a whole lot. The way you feel about them may not be consistent. You know, it could be hot and cold. You could feel very intense emotion toward them one minute, and the next minute you have no interest at all. You might start thinking about this person against your will. It feels like it's almost like you're not trying to think about them, or you're doing other things, but they constantly on your mind and you cannot make it stop. You might even develop an intense craving for them and find yourself missing them for no reason.
Yeah, all of this is true. So be very careful, especially when you're being intimate with certain men who want you to be like, say you love me, who is your man, and this and that. And then,
yeah, like who P is this? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying not to be just vulgar, but basically you have some men say, whose pussy is this, or something like that, and I just had to come out and say it. But you just definitely have to be very wise about your lifestyle. I think it was another one I was going to share with you. I try not to say things that are too vulgar, but you get what I'm saying.
Y'all doing these love spells. Let me tell you the dangerous part of it. If a person don't want you and you do a spell to make that person come back, did you know every little thing that person don't like gonna come on their mind? Let's say you got a man, right? The only thing make him mad is when you keep going out with your friends or dudes keep hollering at you. Did you know this how the devil works? The devil would send all those different kind of men to talk to you, knowing your man crazy. All of a sudden, your man want to jump on you, put his hands on you. And men put spells on women too, trying to make that woman stay with him because she fine, she got this and that. I don't want nobody to have him. I'm telling you. So many women go crazy over a man. And then all of a sudden, different women in your inbox, all of a sudden, all these folks trying to talk to you, she think you cheat. And you done broke her heart so many times. That woman gonna do something to you and do something to them women too. Y'all better be careful playing with this stuff now. It's real out here.
I want another love spell story because I'm on a roll today. Somebody just submitted this one to me and this one is good. I can't believe you guys are this unhinged. Let's get into the story time. This one is T. We're going to call this guy Andre. Andre was the one who submitted this story to me, and Andre's Jamaican. So Andre was in a relationship with this girl and they had a very tumultuous relationship. That means for whatever reason, the relationship was always toxic. It seemed like they were always getting together and breaking up, getting together and breaking up. Until one day, Andre was like, I really cannot take this no more. I really want out of this relationship. I want nothing to do with this. He said that a couple months went by, and one day he just felt the urge to just get back together with the girl. So he did. He said that he would later find out that this girl was into some dark shit. Unbeknownst to him, this girl had other plans. She was tired of the back and forth. So after they got back together, Andre said that they always had like a super close best friend relationship where they could tell each other anything. So one day, as a joke, she winds up saying something along the lines of, you know, for a second there, I was scared. I didn't think my stuff was working. I didn't think it worked. I didn't think I was going to get you back. So then Andre asked her, like, what do you mean by that? And she said, as a joke, what if I did Obia on you and that's why you're here? As a joke, though. They both laughed about it and moved on. He also mentioned that upon them getting back together, she was really, really pushy in terms of sex. He said that he was never the type of dude to run a red light, okay? But one day during that time of the month for his girl, she really wanted to do it. And she convinced him and they did it.
So as I told y'all earlier, blood is very important in different rituals. And some women believe if they have sex on their menstrual cycle, that they can keep a man attached to them. Because like I told you, blood is very powerful in rituals. In any type of witchcraft rituals, blood is very powerful. It's something about the blood, like I was telling you about how in the biblical days, for remissions of your sins, they would kill animals. The priests would kill animals for people, for the house of Israel, for their sins to be forgiven. So it's something very essential about why they use blood. And so some women, like I said, you've heard of women putting menstrual blood in spaghetti or some red sauce, you know, because they know that blood is very important in those rituals. It keeps a person attached to you in some type of way. And so that's why she wanted to have sex on her cycle. And I think that is absolutely disgusting. And that is just my opinion. So I wouldn't want a man that would want to have sex with me on my period. That's weird.
Keep in mind that this girl had already met Andre's parents, and Andre mentioned that his mother never liked his girlfriend. But you know, Jamaican parents are hard to please. One day, the mom came up to him and said, son, I had a dream. Like, I really don't like that girl enough. I had a dream that your grandmother came to me and told me that she was working Obia on you. Do what you want with that information, but I don't think you should stay with her. Andre is a spiritual dude. Andre's a spiritual dude, but he's like, Obia? I don't know. So he decides to go home and he sat his girlfriend down and started by saying, I know what you've been doing to me, just to see if she would say anything. He said that my mother came up to me and said that she had a dream and went on to tell her what the mother's dream was. And he said, well, does that sound familiar? And homegirl would say, okay, so now here's the tea. She said during one of their back and forth, she said that, well, she read somewhere that blood is a very powerful ingredient to binding. And mirrors are also very powerful magic
You
tools.
did you hear that? Blood is a powerful spell for binding. Just kind of like how I was telling you, it keeps you connected with that female. So if any woman wants to use blood in any type of thing sexually, you need to run, men. I'm telling you, because there's a reason, because she knows something that maybe you might not be aware of. So you definitely need to watch that.
Tools. So she thought, why don't I just combine both? She said that one day she missed him so much that she wrote his name in blood in the mirror, and she stood in front of it and summoned him. She was also saying affirmation like, you're obsessed with me, you want me, you love me, you can't leave me alone. She said she didn't think it would work because she had only did it once, and it took him a while to get to her, to get back together with her. And she also brought up that time that they did it while she was on her. He said he was utterly disgusted that she would even do something like that. He said he left. He said he did a cleanse on one of the beaches. He wore all white and then walked into the water, dunked his head to try to cleanse himself and get rid of her energy or her spirit around. Well, he successfully stayed away from her. But she, on the other hand, cannot leave that man alone. He says that this girl is literally obsessed with him, like showing up to his house, obsessed with him, get cussed out by his family, and still comes back because she wants the man that bad. She told him that if he doesn't get back together with her, that she will unalive herself. And she attempted.
I don't want anyone that bad. I'm just going to be honest with you. And even if I wanted someone, I'm not doing none of that. Like, it's not that serious. I think people have lost their minds. They definitely have went to another level of crazy. I would never want to force anyone or manipulate anyone into loving me. That's just me. Because to me, it's not real. It's not organic. So if you have to go through all of this just to get a man or a woman to be hooked on you, then you're doing too much. Okay. But that is my opinion. If people want to do what they want to do, it is what it is. But at the same time, you won't ever see me doing it. I ain't got time for it. If you don't want me like that, you just don't want me like that. Right? So I think these people have gotten to a new level of crazy and an obsession, and it don't make no sense. That's just my opinion.
Her family found her, took her to the hospital. And when she came back home from the hospital, guess who was the first person she went to go see? Andre. And Andre says that it's gotten to the point where she done fought his mama. It's gotten to the point where she done fought his mama, his sister, his cousin. She done got jumped. And that girl don't care. She want that man. He says that she doesn't present as a physical threat to him, but he's definitely afraid for the ladies around him because she has also showed up to his dates.
Showed up to his dates. Did y'all hear that?
Sat on top of his car and refused to get off the car because he was with another woman. And now he's thinking about moving because he cannot get rid of her. And the craziest thing is he didn't do nothing. She was trying to get him to be obsessed with her, but some way, somehow, I never heard this before, but a Uno reverse happened and she winded up being the obsessed one. Golly, that was a good one. Thank you, Andre. I really do wish you the best. If you guys wish to submit your stories, be sure to submit them at submitalienstories@gmail.com. And if they're really interesting, then I'll tell them. I have so many more story times available on my YouTube channel, so make sure you guys go on over and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you scroll up to the top of my TikTok page, you see where it says Instagram. If you click on that, both my Instagram link and YouTube link will pop up. Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel and go follow me on Instagram since they are banning this app September 9th, 2024. Thank you, abducted aliens. Please, guys, do better.
Y'all imagine casting a love spell on a fucking narcissist and this man end up unaliving you. So y'all, I'm finna give y'all a story time on how this girl ended up losing her life all because she wanted this man to fall in love with her. So first thing first, they worked at the same facility together or whatever. And the girl had just started, I think the man, he was there for like probably 2 or 3 years or whatever. So when she came, they placed her in the department with him or whatever. So I guess he was her like trainer. That they was like machine operators or whatever. So he was her trainer. He was showing her how to do the ropes and stuff like that to work in the machine. So, you know, as time go on, you know what I'm saying, they chilling. Y'all know how it is when you in a set with a man and stuff like that, and then you end up talking to the man and yada, 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 and it go from there. But from the get-go, I don't think the man was looking for no relationship, and I don't think the girl was looking for no relationship either. But somehow she ended up catching feelings for him, and he was only trying to... So after months and months of them talking or whatever, she came to him and she was just like, you know, I want to pursue a relationship, like where we stand at this point, because we've been talking for a long time. We done messed around, you know, we did this, we did that. So like, what's up? So I don't think he was feeling a relationship. I think he was like in and out with his baby mama or whatever situation he had going on the side. But I know he wasn't really into her. He was just trying to mess around with the girl.
Thank you, Russell. You see what I'm saying about these? Hey, Rachel, these people that want to sit up there and they call it narcissists, but some of these people that are narcissists, they be using spells to spell work on people. And you got the same man. Now he done put a spell on her, got the woman hooked. Now she doing the most. Now he want to unalive her. That's what some of this stuff. That's why I said you can't use this stuff. This stuff will backfire on you.
And then y'all, he used to try to like manipulate this girl. He used to like lead her on, love bomb her. You know, it was always one-sided with him. So she was just like, enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of playing games with you. So she laid her foot down. Basically, she was just like, you know, it is what it is. If we're going to be together, we're going to be together. We not, then just leave it the fuck alone. But somehow, I don't know, this girl could not fucking get over him. And then what's so crazy is this man knew that this girl felt some type of way. And he just wouldn't leave her alone for shit. Like, if you don't like the girl, you don't want to fuck with the girl, why you want to just leave her alone? That's what I didn't understand.
Have y'all ever been with men and women like that? They really don't like you like that, but they try to keep you stringed along by maybe love bombing you one day, the next day they ignore you. Have y'all ever been in those situations? That's manipulation. That's manipulation. When people do that, they're manipulating you. They're trying to keep you hooked. They're trying to keep you guessing. Well, maybe they like me. Maybe they don't. Maybe they like me. Maybe they don't. And they go back and forth with this. They play you like a yo-yo. Those type of men, I put them over here on the end, over here on the side, because I ain't got time for that. Keep it over there. I don't like stuff that keeps me confused. If you confusing me, you need to go on. Gone. Okay? I don't entertain people like that. I entertain people that's really serious. And if you're not serious, I will X you out, and you don't even know you've been X'd out. But I know. And then, like I said, if you ever try to come back, you're going to have to prove to me that you for real. Because otherwise, I'm going to give you a hard time. I'm not going to be easy to where it let you back in after you done left one or two times. I'm going to be like, nah, prove to me. Let me see who you are. Because I ain't got time for the games. We getting too old and too grown for people to still be playing games and trying to be manipulative. Either you want something or you don't. All that other bullshit, all that other confusion that people try to do in that manipulation. See, witchcraft is really a lot of manipulation. A spiritual manipulation that can go into the physical. So you doing all of that to keep a person hooked when you really ain't feeling that person. You really don't love that person, but you just like the control to be able to manipulate and play people like they're puppets. I see that on social media. I see that with some content creators. They're just so manipulative in their lives. And you got people that will sit up there and believe everything they say and agree with everything they say, even though in the real world they wouldn't even agree with that. But because it's somebody they like, they've been manipulated by their you got, even preachers do that. You got some preachers that are not controlled by the Holy Spirit, or not controlled by God. They'll do the same thing. They're just wolves in sheep clothing, just manipulating the audience. Bless me with $20 and God gonna bless you with $2,000 in the morning. Bless me with $20 and God gonna bless you with a husband. Bless me with $400 for this building, and if you don't, God gonna put a curse on you. That kind of stuff. That's a sign. That's manipulation. And those people that are in the church that do that, they are using witchcraft when they do that. Witchcraft is manipulation in the spiritual that manifests in the natural. Manifest. I'm sorry, I need to pronounce that correctly. Manifest naturally. So witchcraft is a spiritual thing that happens in the spiritual that manifest in the natural. So I had to re-quote that again because so you understand. So regular people do it, preachers do it, psychics do it, all men, women do it. Hey, Cam, what's good? Good night to you, Cam, and you stay blessed as well. Thank you. Men do it, women do it. It's all manipulation that it goes back to witchcraft, basically. So y'all just be careful.
So then y'all, they stopped talking for like a minute, probably like, I ain't gonna say a minute, they probably stopped talking for like a week or two, and they working in the same set, but they wasn't talking. Like at this point, she know what she doing and stuff like that, so she don't have to talk to him. So, you know, somehow they end up talking. I think he ended up texting her or whatever, I don't know. But somehow they end up talking, start back talking or whatever, and you know, it was like on the same shit. Like it's like they never fucking left off. The conversation picked up as if they never got into it. They never had the conversation about her trying to pursue a relationship. None of that. They just picked up where it left off, and she never did bring it back up or nothing like that for a long time. So then months and months go by, they back messing around, they back, you know, flirting and all this other stuff. And then she brings up that she want a relationship again. And he just like at this point, like, you know, I'm tired of you sitting up here every few weeks or whatever, you bringing up relationship and all this stuff like that. But he never did come direct and say, I don't want a relationship. He never did say, you know, I don't look at you like that. He never did say none of that. He led that girl on the whole time thinking that, okay, it's a possible chance that we can be together. But he never did tell her, like he was indirect. Y'all know how narcissist is. So y'all, as time going on.
Yeah, we can say narcissist, but we could just say as what they say in the hood, he's just a fuck nigga. And I'm not trying to be vulgar, but that he's just a man that's no good for those that want, you know, another message, another way of saying the message. He's a man that he just basically he want the benefit, but he don't want you, right? That is manipulation, especially when you're not upfront with people. And men and women both do it. It's not just men. So let's just get that straight. Women do it just as good or better than men sometimes, right? So we're both can be manipulative. That is witchcraft. Any manipulation is witchcraft. So you got a man that will say, you know, hey, you know, they love you, they spend time with you, they love bombing you, they texting you, they flirting with you. Then you bring up a relationship. Oh, well, why are you bringing that up? Well, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? So men and women do it. I had a man try to do me like that. He found out real quick. I've been raised by my daddy, and I've been raised by I have a lot of uncles, a lot of male cousins. So whatever he was doing, he thought it was gonna work with me, like it worked with so and so, like it worked with Keisha, like it worked with Donna over there. But he found out real quick I can play the game too. So he found out two can play that game, and I got to move it on. And he left there, you know, like, oh, she ain't gonna fight over me. Absolutely not. You got the right one at the right time. I'm not the one. Okay. So I had to kind of let a person know that I don't know who you thought I was. Maybe you thought I was Boomquisha over there. Or maybe you thought I was Tiffany over there. But this over here ain't that. So I had to kind of reintroduce and let him kind of know that I think you thought I was real sweet and real, and I am, and real naive, because that's what I put off to people sometimes, that I'm very unassuming. But then he found out that that's really not me at all. I am sweet, but I'm far from unassuming. It just seems like I'm unassuming, and I don't know what you're doing, which I know exactly what you're doing, but I'm gonna act like I don't know what you're doing, if that makes sense. So that's why some people will try to manipulate people that are unassuming. And I like that way. I like it that way for the simple fact you'll never see me coming. Even though you think I don't see you coming, I see you a mile away. I just don't say anything about it. right? Because when you know better, you do better. And so men don't get me tied up like that, like maybe some women. And I'm not saying I'm better than some women, it's just because I was raised differently. I don't get tied up with men that waste my time. I politely, I'm still cool with you. We still cool. We still friends. I politely put you to the left, let you go on, let you go around straggling along with scallywags while I'm over here living my life to the best of my ability. And that's what men and women need to learn how to do. Stop allowing human beings, men and women, to be your God. Nobody should have that much space and opportunity in your life to make you do and be a person that you're not. Nobody should have strings to be a puppet master, to use you like a puppet. Like, nobody should have that power. Nobody should have that opportunity. Yes, you're going to love people and you may get hurt, or whatever, but it shouldn't keep you to where you're losing your mind and you lose all common sense. There's just some things you just got to wake up out of it. You just have to wake up. You can't feel sorry for yourself.
Whatever.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm not, I done met a lot of manipulative men. I done met a lot of men that are really intelligent. They enough to know how to manipulate a woman. I'm not gonna say intelligent, but diabolical. But they never tied me up to where I was gonna allow them to get me so strung out I lost my mind. That's why I'm very careful of who I deal with, whether it's intimately or even with romantically, even platonic. Men and women, hell, all of them can try to get you out of sorts. So just be careful with who you entertain. That's all I'm saying.
She was just like, okay, they had started, like, I don't know, it's like they would talk and stuff like that, and they would get into it about the smallest shit. And I just feel like, sis, if y'all get into it about the smallest shit, that should tell you this man is not for you. Like, God is not gonna force nothing at all. But obviously she wanted to force it. So they stopped talking for like a month. But she couldn't get over this man for nothing. She kept thinking about him, and it's kind of hard when you working with this person. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of understand that point. But she working with the man side by side every day. She have to look at this man that she done fell in love with. And this man don't look at her the same. After he done strung her along, he done love bumped her. He done told her this, told her that. And now y'all at this point. So y'all, one day, I don't know, something came across her news feed where it was like, I don't know, y'all know when y'all in a broken-hearted relationship and all this other shit that's like relatable to your situation start showing up on your news feed, whether it's Facebook, TikTok, whatever it is, it starts showing up on your news feed. She came across this little love spell, how to get your man and all that. And maybe she was Googling that shit. She probably was Googling that shit. I wouldn't be surprised if she wasn't. So y'all, this girl started doing her research on love spells. She was like, trying to see, like, what could happen, how crazy will people go behind a love spell. She just started doing her research about love spells or whatever. She got on TikTok. I think she watched a couple videos. I know she watched a couple videos because a couple of them she shared. So she started watching videos about, the love spell and all this stuff like that. And y'all, every video that I saw that girl had watched or she shared or whatever, y'all, they was basically saying, like, don't do that. People have unalived their partner and this and that. It's not that serious, all this stuff like that. But the girl was curious. She was curious as hell. That's why y'all got to be careful what the fuck y'all do and who the fuck y'all trying to attach to y'all. Because, baby, this shit is not no damn joke. But anyways, so she ended up doing it, y'all. She ended up doing it one night, and I think she was like, she didn't have no results the second or third night or whatever. Like a few nights, she didn't have no results or whatever. So she was just like, fuck it, she didn't believe in it. But then this man texted her out the blue. He texted her out the blue, and he was just like, I miss you. And he usually didn't text that, so she was like, damn, okay, he she didn't really think of the love spell either, y'all. She thought that it was just like a coincidence or some shit. Like he just texted her because, like I said, y'all, they was on and off all the time. So she just looked at it like it was a normal routine with him. So y'all, you know, they talking, everything going smooth and stuff like that, you know, for like a week or two. And then he just got to accuse her. Like I said, they work at the same facility or whatever. So he got to accusing her, like every time she would talk to another guy or whatever, or somebody would say hey to her, he was like, damn, you in everybody's face. Like he would just like make little smart ass comments, but he wasn't really just throwing himself out there to show that he's like he's jealous or something. I don't know. There's probably another terminology I could have used, but yeah, y'all know what the fuck I'm trying to say. But anyways, she was like explaining to him, she was like, you know, she kind of like, why you checking me? You ain't even my dude. Then when I tried to ask you about a relationship and stuff like that, you didn't even want a relationship and all the stuff like that. Mind y'all, I don't think this girl realized that love spell that she put on that man, it actually freaking worked. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna have to make part 2 because I'm on my break and I gotta go back in. So imagine casting a love spell on a narcissist and he unalives you. Part 2. Now, first thing first, before I even start, I just want to say a lot of y'all under the comments talking about, oh, she got what she deserved and all this stuff like that. I agree, she shouldn't have did it, but I don't agree that she got what she deserved, because no person deserves to be unalived by another person. I feel like they both was in the wrong. She shouldn't have did what she did to him, and he shouldn't have killed her. This girl got...
You see how that backfired? She uses the love spell. She finally got what she wanted. She got the love. She got the obsession that she wanted from him. She got the attention she wanted from him, and it backfired, and her life was taken. You see, I talked about that earlier. Now, every woman that goes through the, her mate unaliving her does not do witchcraft. That I'm not saying that, but some women do. And when you use these type of tactics, you don't know what you're going to get. And so you see how she, I would say innocently, one just wanted the man to pay us attention. He was already giving her attention, then take it away. And then she just couldn't let it go. So she decides to go to desperate measures. And this is what she get, her life taken from her. Now, again, I agree with the young lady. Both of them was wrong. But did she deserve her life to be taken?
Got 2 kids. Y'all gotta understand, her youngest kid is 3 and her oldest is 5. And for the ones that saying that maybe he put the love spell on her first, I do agree. I completely agree. Because for some reason she mentioned that she couldn't get over this man for nothing. No matter what she did, like she stopped talking to him, she was talking to other people, she couldn't get over this man for nothing. So 9 times out of 10, that sound like she was under the love spell too. She just kept saying that she kept thinking about him. She was having dreams about him. Like it was all the signs of, her being under a love spell. Okay, let's finish the story. So, okay, like I said, they was at work or whatever. She was talking to this dude. I think this dude spoke to her. He was asking her something about the job. I don't know what they was talking about, but he came to her and he was like, damn, you in everybody's face. And, she kind of brushed it off. She laughed and all this stuff like that. She was like, I thought you said you didn't want to pursue no relationship and stuff like that. Why are you questioning me about who I'm talking to and all this stuff like that? Mind y'all, the way the girl was acting, you can kind of tell that she had forgot. I ain't gonna say she forgot about the love spell, but she probably felt like the love spell didn't work because, like I said, they was on and off, So 9 times out of 10, she probably looked at it like, he just probably checking in like he always do. So they go to their department or whatever, and he came up to her. He was asking her, like, what you and old dude was talking about, what y'all had going on. She was like, nothing, we weren't really talking about nothing and stuff like that. She didn't really go further detail about what they talking about. She just said nothing to him, and he walked away. So she said when she looked up, he was giving her like an evil look. He was giving her like a real evil look, and it kind of scared her. So she went down there and she asked him, like, why you looking at me? If she was in a playful mode. She didn't she didn't think nothing of it, y'all. She didn't think nothing of it. She didn't think that I don't think she thought that the love spell worked, like I said. So he was just like, when she went down there and asked him why he was looking at her like that or whatever, he was like, why was you in dude's face? That's what I'm trying to understand. You ain't really asked me. You said it was nothing, but I'm trying to understand why you was in his face. And she's saying the same stuff, like, why you questioning me and all this stuff like that. And he was just like, don't worry about it, whatever. So they had stopped talking. They left work. He texted her and he was like, you better not be talking to that dude that you was talking to at work. And she was like, that's crazy. And y'all, what's crazy? The girl, I don't know what's wrong with her, but she asked him again about a freaking relationship. And he now, one thing about it, the love spell, I don't know how the love spell works, but he still didn't want to pursue a relationship with her. But it's like he was like obsessed with her. He was trying to control her. He didn't want her talking to nobody else type stuff. So she goes home.
You see, loving someone is free will. And that's what any human being would want, somebody to love them with their own free will. But see, she wanted that, but she ended up using the devil tactics and ended up getting somebody that was obsessive over her, that was trying to control her existence with who she talked to, who she didn't talk to. Like he said, you better not be talking to that guy. That was obsession. That was control. Had nothing to do with him loving her. When you love people, that's some free will. And that's the way you should want it. You shouldn't want anyone that you have to put a spell on or strong arm them. And then when you do that, then the person gets so obsessed, he don't want nobody to talk or have you. And that obsession is not love. Obsession is not love.
Them go home or whatever. It's the end of the day. They go home, and she said bye to him, and he didn't say nothing to her. He didn't say nothing to her. He looking at her, crazy and shit. Like he basically was in zombie mode. I don't know how that shit go, y'all, but that shit is demonic as hell. It's like, I don't know, he changed his whole face structure and stuff like that when he saw her. Like, he would be having a conversation, talking to somebody else, but it's like as soon as he laid eyes on her, it's like he would get in demonic mode. Like he would just be so evil looking towards her. And she was like, she just didn't understand. So when she got home, she texted him and she was asking him like what all that was about, with you questioning me and you looking at me like that and all this stuff like that. And he was just telling her like, don't worry about it, you will see real soon, y'all. And I don't want to get emotional telling the story because the shit finna get deep as fuck. So y'all, at this point, they, like I said, they at home, they had went home or whatever. And I think they was out for the next 3 days. They was out for either the next 3 days or the next 4 days or whatever. I don't know. But he texted her and he asked her if he could see her that night. And she was like, yeah, come over and all that stuff like that. And she happy, she not thinking nothing of it, y'all. You could tell this her first time doing some shit like this because she wasn't really playing her cards right. She wasn't cautious about nothing. So he came to her house, he's sitting on the couch, they talking, she offered him a drink and both of them smoke or whatever. She offered him to smoke. And he was like, no, I don't want none of this shit. It's like he was just evil. It's like he wanted to be in her presence, but it's like he had hate towards her or something. I don't know. It's crazy. But y'all, she said she was sitting on the couch when she offered him to drink and when she offered him to smoke with her. And y'all, he just got up and choked her. He choked her and he was just like looking dead in her eyes. The same evil look he gave her at work, the same evil look he gave her when he walked through the door. He just was looking at her eyes, evil as fuck. And when he was choking her, he was just like, you better not give my shit away. You better not give my shit away to nobody. And she was just like, what the fuck is you talking about? Like, you hurting me and stuff like that. Like, get off of me, bro. You hurt me. And he just started laughing. And he went back to his normal self. Y'all. And he just was.
See, that's when she should have ran in and got a restraining order against his butt and got a gun or something to protect herself, because anybody that chokes you and then they sit up there and laugh about it, you think that's funny? You think that's something cute? But you have so many silly women and men, but silly women that have low self-esteem and don't think anything of themselves. They think that's cute, that he don't want nobody else to have my poom poom. That's nothing cute. That just means a man trying to control you. He don't want you. He just wants your poom poom. He just wants your commitment and your loyalty while he go around here screwing everything walking. He doesn't want you. He wants what he can get from you. But you have so many women with low self-esteem and so silly, they will put their own life in danger, just like this lady did. Her friend did. Put her life in danger. This man done almost choked the hell out of her in her house and laugh about it as if it is a joke. That to me is crazy. And I bet you anything, because I haven't seen all of this, I bet you anything, how much I want to bet that woman still wanted to be with him. You can't make this stuff up.
Looking confused. She said he was looking confused. Like he wasn't even aware of what he just did to her. So she had made up some excuse about her having to do something or whatever, to the point where he had to leave or something like that. I don't know. I think she said she had to go pick up her child or something. I don't know. But he ended up leaving or whatever. And he texted her and he apologized to her about what he did. He was like, I'm sorry, I got too aggressive with you and all this stuff like that. So I want to let you know that I apologize. She was like, oh, it's okay and stuff like that. She thought that shit was sweet. She thought like, oh, okay, he protective of me, or he just crazy about me. I don't know. But y'all, okay, so the way her house is set up, y'all, she keep her blinds open. She said she keep her blinds open all the time. She sit on the couch, she smoke, she drink, and she just sit on the couch and she vibe and stuff like that. She said for some reason she looking out the window and he passes by. And then she didn't really say nothing. She didn't think nothing of it because she's like, in her head, she's like, that could have been anybody. That could have been anybody. So I'm not just gonna say that was him. That's in the back of her head. She thinking that. She didn't say that out loud, but she thinking that in the back of her head, like that could have been anybody. So then he comes back around, but this time he's blowing his horn. He blowing his horn hard as fuck. And she just like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on and shit like that. So she calls him. She like, did you just pass by my house? And all this stuff like that. And he just get the clicking on her like, yeah, bitch, it better not be nobody in there and all that stuff like that. I'm going to come upstairs and beat that door down and beat you down and this and that. He just was threatening her left and right. It's like he would get aggressive with her and then he'll come back too. And he'll just be nice. Y'all, this shit is crazy as fuck. Like, this shit's scary. I'm trying not to cry and all this stuff like that. Because, baby, it gets deep. This man was in this girl bushes waiting on her. Like, he was in her bushes, under her steps, under her car, behind a fucking trash can. Y'all, it got so crazy. Like, he didn't even recognize himself, I don't think, because it's like it was like a switch. 1 minute he was like real aggressive with her, then the next minute he like, damn, I apologize for what I did. I don't know what came over me and all this stuff like that. That damn love spell. But anyways, I know y'all tired of these parts, but bitch, I'm at work and I ain't losing my job for now one of you hoes. Anyways, I'm gonna go back in here. I'm gonna make part 3 a little later, probably when I get back on my break. So at 5 o'clock, I'm gonna make part 3. Tune in.
There's too many parts in that. Hopefully she, I don't know. This is just a crazy story. I'm gonna show y'all a couple of more, but I think most of you guys are highly intelligent to catch it. So I don't have to just keep playing it. But I did pin the link at the top. Anybody that would like to talk about this or whatever, you're more than welcome to hit the link. And if not, I'm going to exit stage left. Thank you, Scorpio Mama. I really feel like these are some of the things that people overlook, especially, I feel like I'm not in the sector, but the people I associate in the sector with, this type of content is very foreign for a lot of people. First of all, they probably think it's weird, which it is, but it is very, I would say it's prevalent to you. I'm going to just say it's wise to know about what is actually going on and what people are using different devices to manipulate to get the things what they want. And this is not something that just happened. People have been using witchcraft for centuries. So this is nothing that has just popped up in the last from the last 5 to 10 years. Like, this is something that has been happening since the beginning of time. And witchcraft is definitely a manipulative tactic that to get people to do certain things or to act certain ways. And you have people that really believe in this stuff. So you gotta be aware of that. I'm gonna play a little bit of this, and I'm gonna play one more of another video. And if nobody wants to come up, I'm going to end this live. And I'm just gonna end this live and do what I need to do. I got some things I need to do.
Years ago, this is how I know how crazy that shit would make you. Because when I first started, I didn't know. When I first started doing work, I didn't know how this thing would manifest. It was somebody that put me onto it. And I remember the first time I did a love spell, that shit backfired on me. And when that shit hit me, oh my God, that shit was like, I was obsessed. Like, I felt like I was gonna die if I didn't call my ex. Like, I'll be on the phone. Like, I'll say, I'm not gonna call her. And the batch the person gave me was like fucked up. They gave me a combination or whatever recipe, and it was fucked up. So anyway, I would be shaking, jittering, like I gotta call her. I gotta call her.
Let me tell you about this time this guy was dating a love.
Okay, this is a longer one, so I ain't gonna play that one. But this is definitely a good story. If you guys want to check this out, this is the Dark Doorway TV, Dark Doorways TV, and this is where you can find this video. And it says "Love Spells Gone Horribly Wrong" TikTok compilations. So if you would like to go back and look at this, you are more than welcome. I'm not gonna play all of it. I've seen this particular one with this lady. She ended up encountering some same situation, but I'm not gonna play that. You can go and look at it yourself if that's what you want to do. It was one of these it was a guy that I wanted you guys to listen to. He was pretty good. This is from a rich girl. Let's see. A rich girl's glow up. So I'm gonna back to that, and I want to play this part when this gentleman comes up, and this is under fair use. Fair use. Fair use. Let me know if you guys can hear this. Okay, I don't know what the hell's going on here. Hold on. Okay, it might be because I had it on mute. Like, what the hell?
So I had this female friend a couple of years ago. Me and her no longer friends because I cut her the fuck off. Here's why. She was a pretty girl, but she was heavyset. But that didn't stop her from getting fucked. She wanted love, but she was fast in the ass. And most men, they treat big women a little different. They not gonna love you in public, but they'll fuck the shit out of you behind closed doors.
Ain't that something? So, do some men treat heavyset women different than the regular women? The regular, I would say body types. That's another thing I need to talk about.
So one day she decided that she wanted love by any means. She gets with this guy. He was everything she wanted, but she couldn't get him to stop fucking other women. But then she tells me that he becomes obsessive. He's real clingy. He won't give her space, and he just crazy. He all over her. He's crazy. She made it seem like this just happened out of the blue. Come to find out, she had them put love spells on him. And she told me she put love spells on him. She said she wanted him, and she wanted him all about her. So one day when they was having sex, she put spells on him. Of course he did not know about it. And of course she took advantage of him. She told me all of this. So in the end, she got the man. She got some of what she wanted. The man was all about her. But he was so all about her that she couldn't breathe without him jumping down her throat. He was literally obsessive, possessive. And if I'm not mistaken, he ended up getting violent. Now I say all that to say, that's typically how the love spells work. When you forcing somebody to love you, you're forcing somebody to be with you, it is unnatural. So the results will be unnatural.
Did you hear what you said? If you're forcing someone in an unnatural way, the results are going to be unnatural. So when you're doing this manipulation, this witchcraft, that is unnatural, right? That's not natural. Nothing about that is natural. So you're going to get unnatural. You're going to get unnatural. I would say evidence. Consequences. You're going to get some horrible consequences, but the outcome is going to be very unnatural. It's not going to be authentic. It's not going to be real. And it's definitely not going to turn out the way you want it. It's actually going to turn out worse than what you planned. So,
ladies, if you want love, heal yourself internally. I'm telling you, a beautiful spirit will attract what's for you before a fat ass and big titties will. Become feminine, not just some of the times, but all the times. Forgive them people, let it go. Start going to the gym, drink your water, and truly take care of your spirit. That's how you attract the man that's for you. There ain't a man on this planet that ain't attracted to a beautiful spirit. Even the ops attracted to beautiful spirits, baby. Now, before I cut her off, I should have had a conversation with her, but I didn't. I didn't trust her. I lost all respect for her.
Wow, you hear that? So if you want somebody in your timing, not in your timing, but in the right timing, in the universe's timing, in God's timing, and you have a beautiful spirit inside and out, you're beautiful inside and out, the right person, the right energy, the right spirit will be attracted to you. So that's basically what he's saying. If you don't have to manipulate, the timing will come when it comes. You know, you can't make it come when you want it and rush things when you want it. The link is pinned, Russell. I've been telling people for the longest the link is pinned. So if come on up, the link is pinned at the very top. I believe I have it up there. Let me see. Is it pinned, Tashana? Because I thought I pinned it.
It is pinned.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Tashana. How you been, girl?
Doing pretty good.
I'm really happy.
How about yourself?
I'm taking one day at a time. I had a busy weekend this weekend, so I'm a little tired. I didn't even go to church today. I just kind of just chilled at home.
All right, long as you got it in the heart, then that's where it matters where it's at.
That part.
Cause you got some of them be up in there every Sunday and then don't got none of Jesus in them.
Right. So like I was telling somebody, Jesus keeps me from going all the way down to the gutter like some of these folks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm late to this one right here because boy, I've experienced this myself. I've talked about it on my channel several times about what happened to me.
Right.
Pretty much had to go through a situation like exorcism.
Yeah, you told me about that on your interview.
Yeah. Oh, I did. So I brought it up on your channel before. Okay. Yeah. It is crazy work, and just like you said, just like somebody was saying once I clicked the link, I couldn't really hear it, but they were saying that because it's you're getting it in an unnatural way, you're gonna get some unnatural results, and not the person. It happened to me because you don't think you vulnerable. You know, back in the day, people used to tell you, oh, as long as you believe in Jesus Christ and you covered under the blood, that it it don't work for you. But the way I kind of look at it is like you know how in the book of Job, when he say the devil's going around looking for who he can do this and this, and then God know that you can handle it. So he's like, hey, have you considered my servant over here?
Right,
so
right.
the doors can be open, don't mean that it's gonna knock you down on the ground, or because also too, what the devil meant for bad, God will turn around for the good. So
right.
Yeah, so I've been in a situation like that, but of course I'm gonna go back and listen to the whole thing.
So for those who did not see your interview that I did and where you brought that up, hey Tim, can you please go back and tell us the story that someone put a love spell on you?
So just like to go over it just a little bit. I was dating this guy, and I don't know what kind of spell it was or whatever, but I'm gonna call it what I had been saying, because I felt that like you just feel different. You feel like you don't move the same way that you usually move. Like you just know that something is wrong with you, but you can't quite put your hand on it. But then there's also a discernment that you have on the inside of yourself. So I'm walking around and I'm saying to my friends and stuff, I think this in my these my real words, so I don't like to like switch it up or whatever. But I was like, I think this nigga got he got roots on me. Is
Right.
what I was saying. But when I was saying to my friends, because I didn't want to be like, girl, you a weirdo for thinking that whatever. So I always said it with like a laugh or whatever. I think he got roots on me or whatever. But I really did believe it.
Right.
So I left from the place that I lived in all of my life and I moved to Orlando. And I told nobody here in Orlando. But I started going to this church. And also I had a baby with this guy. And during the time that I had a baby with me, he told me that somebody put roots on his daddy and said that any of his son's kids, if so say his daddy, he is one of the sons. Any of his daddy's sons, every time they try to have the baby gonna pass away.
Oh my God.
He said that like after we've been dating for like 2 years. But because I wasn't raised like that. I had ministers and stuff in my family or whatever. So I was just like, okay, then I heard what he said. And I'm not giving it any power, but true to his words, I have to acknowledge that my son did pass away.
Wow.
It actually did happen. And it's like after he passed away, it was like he started to blame me or something about it or whatever. So I don't know really what he was doing, but he took a trip back to Haiti. And when he went over there, it's like, and the doctor, he blamed the doctor too. The doctor passed away. And me, I was basically in a situation where like I was losing my mind.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So he was Haitian, right?
Yes.
And someone basically put a spell on his father and said his son's kids sons will
not
die.
live. Right.
So basically, but he put it on you.
But I'm sorry for interrupting. What he did was once the baby passed away, he started to blame other people. So he made a trip back to Haiti like 2 weeks after we buried the baby. And when he went over there, then stuff started to happen.
Wow.
But he also had expressed that he was going he felt like it was the doctor's fault. So he said to me, he spoke it to me that he was going to do something to the doctor. And my response to him was, don't talk to me about no stuff like that right there, because I don't want to be involved in that. I don't believe in that. I don't think that somebody would just do that. I don't think somebody would just do that. So after that point, I went what happened? After that point, when he came back, like stuff started happening to me. He basically started saying stuff like he should have took my baby away from me and stuff like that. And so when he went over there, then like things happened. And then I was also too in a position where I started to say like a prayer that just dropped in my spirit one day. Lord, if he ain't for me, move him out of my life. I dropped that, right? And it just came. This is like 3 weeks after the baby passed away. So I was already I was doing stuff that was not normal for me, like walking around like 2 o'clock in the morning in the streets and stuff. That was not something that I would ever do. So just like little things was happening to let you know that something wasn't right. So when he went over there, now I told you I moved to Orlando, and I've been saying this all this time, right? And at this point, every time like once after me and my husband was married, every time we have a kid, I would start going through like it it wasn't, you couldn't even call it postpartum depression because I hadn't even had the baby yet. It was just like I was losing my mind every time that I would get pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And so to the fact, I'm going to tell you how bad it got one time. They labeled me. I ain't saying diagnose me because I ain't showed you nothing with got to do with no schizophrenia or no nothing, right? They labeled me schizophrenic at one point. So what happens then is Easter Sunday comes up, and then I'll let you ask my question. This Easter Sunday comes up in 2004. I go to this church over here in Orlando called Power, Praise, and Deliverance. The pastor, his sister was a prophetess. I think that's what you say. She was a prophetess, and he turned this church service over to her. Now, I ain't never went up in front of no church or no nothing. Somebody laid no hands on me and made me lay out on the ground or no nothing like that. But stuff like that is like exciting for me, like to see people get called up and like give a word in their life and stuff like that. I like that kind of stuff, right? But it ain't never been me before.
Right.
That lady turned around and she pointed her finger at me and told me to come in. I started looking around at everybody out in the church, and I was like, who is she talking to? She said, no, you. She pointed her finger and she said, no, you. Come here. So I walked up to the front of the church, and she took her hands and she like laid them up under my neck. And she touched me up under my neck and backed up off of me, and she blew into her hand, like into my face. And when she did it, it was like my legs buckled. And I was like, what in the world, girl? So she backed off of me again, and she said something else, and she came back up on me again, and she did the same exact thing again. And this time when she blew, it put me on the floor. You know, when you get the sheet thrown over you. That happened. So while I was down on the floor, but I don't know of anything being said around me, no nothing during this time. I'm just telling you what happened on that day. Now, when I had joined that church, and then that following Saturday, the kids had choir rehearsal. So me and another parent was sitting on the front step, and the lady sitting on the front stoop with me, she say, so who put roots on you? And I turned and looked at her because, mind you, I'm not from here, from Orlando. And I told you I didn't talk to nobody in here in Orlando about me having roots put on. She asked me, she say, so who put roots on you? I say, what you talking about? She was like, well, last Sunday when you was down on the floor, she said, you ain't hear what the prophetess had said. I said, no. She said, well, she told the pastor, she got roots. Somebody, she's got candles lit all around her, meaning the spirit of witchcraft. And I see God putting them out one by one. When she said that, I jumped up off the stoop of the church and started running down the road just screaming, because I knew none of them didn't know that story. None of them didn't have an inkling. But a girl also went to that church from where I came from. She just used to ride a long way to come to this church here. And when she came in, and actually her mama used to date the same dude.
Right.
And when she came, she said, now when she come from the store over there, we gonna ask her what was said. She said, so you know that I ain't saying. And I was like, it ain't that I disbelieve you. She said, so when she came from the store and she walked up the stairs, she said, oh yeah, she said that you had candles lit around you being in witchcraft. And she said, she said, and ain't nobody put roots on you except for, and she called the guy's name. So I guess he obviously had done it to her mom too. So yeah, so I've literally had this right here, but I didn't tell you about what I went through before I went to that church. Because
so do you think that they was some of these people, these women that be saying they prophetess and all that, sometimes they be witches. So do you, because they gave you another different type of information rather than what the lady that actually knew what you went through said, do you think that they could have been do you really think that was God, or what do you think?
Well, I don't understand your question, to be honest with you.
Okay, so the people that you went to church to get delivered, do you think that they were of God?
Well, one thing is, I didn't know that I was going. I wasn't there for. I wasn't there, in my opinion, to be delivered. To me, it just was like I was in the right place. I was at the right place at the right time. Because they didn't know. They didn't know any. They didn't know anything about me.
Okay.
And when I'm saying what it sounds, it probably sounds a little creepy to hear me say that she backed up off of me and she blew into her hands. That
Yeah.
kind of okay. I'm just thinking to myself, that's probably what you're questioning right there. It wasn't like she was doing it as like she had some black magic or something. There was some prayers or whatever she was saying. I couldn't hear what the prayer
Oh,
was,
okay. Gotcha.
but you can definitely tell that the spirit was moving inside of that church on that day.
Okay, gotcha.
Definitely. I'm just saying I didn't hear what she was saying. She came up and like she, like a person lay hands on you. She laid her hands on my neck area, and then she backed up off of me and like she said some prayers or whatever, and she blew onto me. And then she walked back up and she said something else too. And then from there it's just like my legs was gone from up under me. It's just like she put me to sleep or something. But do I feel anything that was demonic that came off of that? Absolutely not.
Okay, gotcha.
No.
That was the question I was wanting to know. Okay, so and basically the guy had put something on you, and it kind of made you go a little cuckoo for a minute,
right?
Until you I guess there was a revelation that was brought to you where it came from and what was going on.
Absolutely. And then after that came, you remember there was I feel like I done told this story like 1,000 times on YouTube, but you remember there was a major earthquake in Haiti.
Yes, I remember.
And a lot of people lost their life.
Right.
Okay, on the I woke the night before because I have dreams and stuff, and I don't dream like on a all the time situation or whatever. And usually when I have dreams, they always come true. I ain't saying I'm nobody's, but I'm just saying. So this one night I go to sleep and I have a dream 2 nights before that earthquake happened. I got it wrote down. I used to be an avid journal. I used to journal every single day. I don't care if I just wrote down I had the worst day ever. I journaled every single day. So I woke up this one night from out of my sleep, and I was dreaming that this guy that had put the roots on me, that he was up under a pile of rubble. It was like I just seen like one big slab of cement sitting on top of him, and then he was like real dusty or whatever. But his head, I always explain it like his head was like an orange that done sat on the table for too long, and the shell of it starting to turn hard.
Yeah.
That's what I equated it to from the dream. So I wrote the dream down. 2 days later, the earthquake happened in Haiti.
Right.
I didn't think anything of it because still there's no connection to it just yet. I go back home to where I'm from, and I run into one of my family members inside of the Walmart there. And I talked to her for a little bit, and then as I get ready to walk away from her, she say, "Oh, hey, wait a minute." She say, "Did you hear about this guy's name? That he was up under some he was trapped up under some rubble for almost 2 weeks, and he was just like on the brink of being up out of here." But let me tell you what I did when I had the dream, because I didn't know it was nothing about no earthquake or whatever. I woke up out of my sleep. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and when I woke up, I started praying for him.
Wow.
But to find out about 2 or 3 weeks later that he was trapped up under the rubble, and it was almost as if like what you tried to do to me, it like trapped me in the position that I was in, like making me lose my mind and playing around with the stuff like that right there. You really got trapped and couldn't move.
Right.
Until
that's something. Huh?
Yeah, until the people came and rescued you. But still, I don't have hate in my heart like that right there. So And still, sometimes when I think about it, it is like somebody really tried to bring harm to you in that way, and you still saw fit
to pray for
to pray for them. And that's why now I stick with um whatever prayers you why you hear me say it all the time, you know what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
Whatever prayer somebody send up for me, I don't care whether they good ones or they bad ones. It's the prayers that you sent up. If you sent them up, I'm asking God to give them whatever you asked for me. May He give it back to you 10 times what you asked Him for me. And if you sent up bad ones, then you gonna get 10 times back what you sent up there for me. But if you ask for good, God gonna pour out a blessing on your head that you ain't gonna even understand.
That part.
And I stand on it.
So basically, when that old saying, and forgive me, I'm eating some popcorn.
Go ahead, go. It's all right.
when they say when you dig one hole for one person, dig two.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
And it may not be two other people that fall in the hole. You might just split in half, and one half fall in one hole, and the other half fall in the other hole. You know, you just don't ever know.
Now that's karma for your butt.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, but
that's
no, I told you it's so much stuff done happened to me in my life. Yeah, endless stories. Every time I'm going through one thing, it's like when I'm stepping out of that one thing, the next thing is already there waiting on me. And I'm not complaining about it. It's just the way my life has gone. But with each time, it's like when you're in the 10th grade, the 11th grade, the 12th grade, stuff doesn't get easier for you. It get a little bit harder, but you still you mastering the skills, right?
Right.
And so with each time that I go through something, I feel a little bit more empowered from the things that I've gone through. But it took me 40 years to know, because I've been going through ever since I was the earliest I can remember is about 5.
Wow.
Yep.
I know you told me that story about what you went through at 5 and how you were kidnapped, and I'm like,
and got a whooping when they bought me back.
Yeah, I'm like, that is crazy to me.
Yep. But sometimes in people that's like old school or whatever, it's better to deal with the child than it is to deal with the person that did the dirty deed.
Right.
And when you have that kind of energy, see that kind of stuff right there put on the inside of me, that I lived my whole first 40 years of life with the thought of if it ever happened to one of my kids, it wouldn't be a justice. I'm trying to say it in the nicest of way, but it ain't no really nice way to say it. That's the one thing that I will call the police for sure. But justice will be served in my way.
After I shot the person.
Yeah, just because of what I know that it did to me in my life, of blaming myself and everything. And as long as I get and I wouldn't say I would listen to my kid and let them tell me the whole story, because parents in this situation, you have to have the right mind not to just let your kid talk to you and you don't interrupt them and say that what you gonna do to anybody else, because that's a kid's worst nightmare, is to hear you say you're gonna do something, because they know that sometimes your kids will hide this type of stuff from you because they don't want you to go to jail if they heard you say something like that. But I'm not going I wouldn't tell my kids none of that stuff. I would trust and believe I would situate them in every way they needed to be situated. But mama gonna be missing for a bit there. But yeah. So it just because you don't want to, and I'm saying that part, and I always want to say that to make sure that, because it happens to so many people in this world, so many. you don't hear about more than you don't hear about 99% of it. You think
That
you hear about it a lot just in your imagine if the whole world bought it together of how much this thing actually happens. It would it would be devastating to hear about it.
it
But
would be devastating for real, and
yeah.
it's so prevalent, and especially in the Black community, the Hispanic community, the stuff that's going on. And
Selena,
uh-huh.
it trust and believe me, it's very even. We just don't we just don't hear about those other people because we connected to the Black community. We see a
Right.
lot of those other communities. But no, they stuff happen the same. They stuff I don't care what color, what nationality you is or no nothing. Trust me, it happens evenly because the spirit of perversion been going on for a very long time, ever since back when our ancestors was being taken advantage of or whatever. And you know what it says, um you put something out, the what did it say, your enemies become your footstool. He who is
Yeah.
first shall be made last, and he who is last shall be made first. If
Right.
you think if you think those people got away with doing what they did to any of our ancestors, and it didn't come back to them in some sort of way, no. Then we can't believe that that's how things really happen, you know. So no, I think it happens very evenly throughout all of it because the spirit of perversion is everywhere.
Right. It really is.
Yeah,
That's the spirit.
they
So
just,
yeah.
you know, some of them just got probably more money than any of us got, and they can pay for it, and they can pay to keep it secret and everything. And it also them paying to keep it secret drive them nuts in their own mind because now you know they get in a high place and they scared to fall down, and a lot of them end up taking their own lives and stuff like that because they can't handle the pressure of what has been done.
Right. So yeah, and it all goes back to what type of manipulation you do to somebody else is going to come back to you tenfold. That's
Oh,
basically
absolutely.
everything that we talked about today, especially with people using casting spells, things of that nature. Like you were saying, how just to go back to what you were saying earlier
Mhm.
about how that same trap that your baby's father tried to do to you, it ended up it may have came back maybe a couple of years later, but it came back, and he was
Right.
under rubble for 2 weeks
Right.
fighting for his life.
Yep.
And at the time that he was fighting for his life, you were praying for him. So that means you had some type of forgiveness for him to pray for your enemies. He's in that rubble. He could have died. Probably maybe a few hours later, from 2 weeks of no water, no food, he could have died. But you
Absolutely.
still prayed for him, and that's amazing how a man can put a spell on you, and in all of that, you still prayed for him and saved his life, and you way
Yeah.
in another country.
And even though I was saying it, that a part of me didn't really believe it because I grew up my whole life with people saying, "Ah, as long as you believe in Jesus, it can't work on you." So I'm saying it out of my mouth, but also a part of me was like, I don't really believe it. So me not believing it, it was also confirmation as to what happened on that Easter Sunday. Because
Right.
because between the two of them, the passing away of the baby was in 95.
Mm,
We
okay.
talking about we in 2004 now.
Right.
So that's a long span in between. I done got married. I done had 2 or 3 more children and everything. So I had done forgot about it. So this came out of nowhere at this point.
Yeah, that you were actually led to pray for him. And even though people say, "Oh, if you have Jesus, this stuff will not come upon you," um, That is true to an extent, but there's some speculations to that. I mean, stipulations. I mean, to that as well, because sometimes now God will allow certain things for certain reasons. Like
Right.
you named the example for about Job, but there's also things that when there is some type of opening that we have left, where demonic entities can come and because they have a legal right, they have to have a
Yeah.
legal right in order
Yeah.
to stir up things in your life, and that could be that legal right that you give them could be some type
Mm-hmm.
of sin that you
Right.
continue to do, and out of disobedience, just because you want to be rebellious and you don't give a damn. So that gives a certain entities legal rights to be able to do certain things in your life because of the sin or something that of disobedience that you know that you shouldn't be doing, and you continue to do it.
Now that you said that, Selena,
Uh-huh.
but I'm gonna say this and then, but I had my reasonings because I didn't trust her either. When I first got with this man, my mama begged me not to date him.
Hmm.
And for different reasons, because I'm 18, he was 40.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God.
So, but going back to all of the different things, and we ain't got time to sit on here all day for me to go back and figure out how come I didn't trust her then. Yeah, just you saying what you said, that crossed my mind, is that she didn't want us, she didn't want me to date him.
So basically, you were disobedient to because
Absolutely though.
and
Absolutely.
even though she may not have been trustworthy because of your past experiences with her,
Right.
maybe that was in God's way trying to beg for you not to go down that route because he knew what this person was going to do.
Yes.
And also with her being older woman, she knows what some older men with younger women try to do as well. So there was a lot of different factors. So you basically, there was warning before destruction. You just decided, I'm grown, I don't trust you anyway, so I'm going to do what I want to do.
And it was, I can say it's like I trust. This is like a hard conversation to have without knowing the background or whatever, right? So it's
Yeah.
like I trusted her, but I didn't trust her because of all the things that had happened. So it was basically like, oh my God, it child, there is so many layers that's just coming to my head right now because this is someone who's telling me not to date someone when she is in a situation at this time and she is having children with a married man that is still, he's with his wife and everything. So it's like there are so many layers. There are so many layers to it. So it's just like I heard what she said, and we weren't battling at this time because it's like the older I got or whatever, things did start to get better with my mom. But yeah, it's just so many layers, Selena. And because this is not what we own right now, we kind of trying to stay in the conversation of that right there. It's just, but that crossed my mind. I had to be honest and say that crossed my mind when you were saying what you're saying. Like, was there some disobedience up in there? Absolutely. I wanted to point that out. But I also believe in that, they say it never said the weapon wouldn't be formed. It said it would not prosper. So
Correct.
the weapon was formed, but it didn't prosper. I've never been treated for schizophrenia. I've never been through those things. They're gone, and there's not a doctor that can say that they touched me and made anything happen. So
Right, to Shauna, and that's what I'm saying, and I'm glad that you said that. But
Mhm.
I do understand what you're saying about your mother, but it's the same thing. So at the same time, God can use anybody to warn you before
Absolutely.
something happens. He can
Absolutely.
use even your enemy to warn you. A lot of the times we just have to take heed to and pay attention to what is going on around us and to us. And so it's unfortunate that you had to go through that situation, but it's also very great lesson that can help people that get into relationships with people that practice certain types of practices, rituals, and religion that may be different from yours, because you're going to be equally equally
unequally yoked.
Unequally yoked. I said equally yoked.
Right.
Unequally yoked, and you're going to have some things that where you might not believe in or might not agree with, but those people believe in it. So when you get intertwined with these people and have soul ties with these people, sexual relationships, and you have end up bringing children into the world, you're going to always be connected to that person, and you don't know what kind of practices these people are into.
Ooh, girl, you digging a little bit more into my story because that's also one of the things that, though it was one of the saddest parts in my life, I thought I was going to literally lose my mom when one of my kids passed away.
Yeah.
But in this day, some people, it's hard for them to get past situations like that. But this is one of the things that I learned to give God glory for, because I saw this, I could see the setup later on. And me being connected to that, I thank God for my son. And I'm also thankful that I know where he is right now. So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Bless your heart. Well, shout out to Life with Tashana. You guys sub up to her. If I have any mods left and available in my chat, please post her channel in my chat. And if not, can you tell people what the name of your channel is?
The name of my channel is called Life with Tashana. A lot of times you'll see me in the garden and everything. My channel is literally about my life. If I'm in the garden on that day, then that's where you're going to be at with me. And if I'm going through something in my life, that's where I'm going to be at, going through what I'm going through in my life and talking to you all about the things that's happening in my life.
Right.
But I appreciate you for that.
Yeah, and Life with Tashana has a powerful story. For those who will go back and look at my catalog, I did an interview with her maybe about a month ago, and she is a surviving cancer at this time, and she's doing an excellent job. So thank you, The Word. Just make sure that you sub up to her. She has and I will say anybody that is a content creator in here, or if you are a mod, put your channel in the chat. I always tell people, give people the chance to network, and because I'm not selfish over here. I like for everybody to win, especially if I rock with you.
Yeah, it's enough space on here for all of us to.
It's enough space for all of us, y'all.
Yeah.
So if you are mod and you are a content creator, put your chat in the link. I don't mind that. I say that all the time. People never do it, but I guess because man, you don't have to ask, just do. I'm not one of those people like that. But I got my boy up here, Lionel. This is a blessing. I haven't never had Lionel up, so he's a sweetheart. He comes over here, supports me, but he's never been over here on my panel. So this is going to be his first time. Thank you for coming up, Lionel.
How you doing, Selena?
What's going on today? Good to see you.
And Tashana, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm all right.
That's good. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. So what's up, Lionel? What's been going on with you today?
Just been being productive. Just being productive.
Yeah, you haven't had any women put any love spells on you, have you?
They probably have. It didn't work.
Yeah, because you kind of hard on these women. You tell these women off in a minute. You don't play. Look, Tashana, Lionel don't play with these women. He Kevin Samuel Jr., honey. He does not play.
Yeah. And I love everything. I love everything about that, because one of the things that I'm big on is I'm not one-sided, because God didn't only give me he didn't give me women that I birthed or raised. He gave me 4 great sons. And some of these things that these women be doing out here, when I get down to talking to my boys, sometimes see how I just went through this whole thing with Selena, I'd be like, yeah, don't trust these hoes.
Right.
You know, because I'm looking out for my sons too. I'm gonna tell them the real deal. And as far as that go, my nephews and everything that come behind it. So, you know, no, I feel like you should be honest with them.
That part. Yeah, that part. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Lionel. I know you had an interview the other day. You said it wasn't nothing exciting, but I think everybody has a story that could help somebody. And you, like I said, you came from a lot of situations, just
Oh
like
wait, you heard
Tashana.
my interview?
Huh?
You heard my interview?
I heard some of it. I have to go through the rest. But I definitely, hey Myron, I know you told me some things in the chat as well. And I definitely have to have you come over here and tell me a little bit about that. I wanted you to kind of tell me kind of how you came up as a young man, if
Ooh.
you have some time.
No, I got time. Just ooh.
It's a lot.
No, it's not a lot. I'm playing. I am an author and I write about transfictional narratives, or rather the deconstruction of transfictional narratives.
Mhm.
And I write in an aspect to give Black faces the highest conceptualization possible and to give us a different context in the speculative fiction areas where we're not prevalent at.
Hmm. Well, I seen the now you have different type of artistry and things of that nature on your platform. Very beautiful, might I add.
Thank you.
And you're very talented in that. And for those people that don't know what Lionel does, he explained some of it, but I want you to kind of explain it in layman terms for people that have no no idea what you're talking about.
How do I break this down?
Um, right before he get ready to break it down, I'm gonna jump off the pen. I don't want to be rude and leave you all, but
Thank
I'm
you,
gonna continue to
Tashana.
listen in the chat, and I got some things to get done though. But
All right.
thank you
Love
for
you to
having me
Reese's
up.
Pieces.
All right, same to you. Talk
Still
to y'all
praying
later.
for you. Okay.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
It's an expansive philosophical and metaphysical narrative that transcends traditional storytelling frameworks.
Mm-hmm.
Was that
Okay.
better?
Well, for me, it's okay. I mean, because I see what you do, but for the person that doesn't understand the dictionary meaning of what you're saying, you
So,
know.
so, so Selena, that's the thing about it. My entire work is just constant layering. So you always are going to have to go deeper and deeper. And every time you think you know something, I smack you in the face and let you know there's more layers beneath that.
Yes. And so you have, let me see if I can find your pen your I want to see if I can find your page on here so I can show people what you do, because most people are very visual learners rather than what you talking about. Consensual something. Like what the hell are you talking about? Okay, let's see. Let's see if I can find your page. Let me see. What it's Lionel what again?
Lionel Suggs.
Suggs.
My
me see.
YouTube one is Suggs Verse, And my website is airtothestars.com.
Okay, look, I found it because I'm like, honey, that's just too much. Yeah, it's good to see you, Myron. Me come through. See if I can. Okay, I got it right here. Now, okay, let me play this.
How do you rank power in Heir to the Stars? When exactly does power become irrelevant and the wrong turn to you? In the Heir to the Stars franchise, there is a strong arrangement of areas that increases a character's status, also known as subs. For the most part, it's in order of priority. However, there are hidden areas that require special awareness to tap into. Understanding each area increases one's status.
Okay, is this AI or a real person?
No, that's a real person.
Okay.
I got women on deck for me.
You got what?
I got women on deck ready to promote for me.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
To each area requires the subs to step beyond.
What exactly are the limits of power? The royal flush has been gathered together to play a game, not only to determine exactly those limits, but also to find an heir to the absolute infinity. Journey with the Zeus as they go through the infinite omniverse and beyond in order to find the limitations of power. We've got Heir to the Stars 2, Dynamic.
This is some type of what do you call that when people be going to them conventions?
Like Comic-Con.
Yeah, this is what this kind of reminds me of. This is some, very unusual things, but they have the AI and they have all these very funny looking characters. This is what this reminds me of, but it's very creative. I got to give it to you. Let's look at a little bit of how they
correctly. Sugsverse isn't one of them. Here's the thing. Characteristics of a real omnipotent is simple only to perspective, boundless beyond limitations and definitions, beyond dualities, trialities, and infinalities, etc. The principal source of all concepts and realities itself, all-encompassing, transcending all creation, yet interpreting all existence.
I love how
this is simple to one's perspective.
Just saying. When I be in the zone, I be going.
I gotta admit to you, Lionel, your diction is very sexy. I gotta give it to you.
I'm just saying, ain't it?
And it's very appealing. So I gotta give that to you. Even though most people will not understand what the hell you're talking about, it just sounds good.
Oh, that's like Texas.
Well, no, I mean, I'm a little bit more intelligent than some people think. I might not come across that way, but I can understand what you're talking about. But, for people that are not, I would say, exposed to different types of, I would say, a bigger vocabulary, or they're not exposed to different things that's going on in the world, especially with technology, they're not going to understand. That's why I said you have to sometimes speak in layman's terms that people that don't, it's not to say that people are dumb,
no,
but
I'm
people
never
may not have, they're not, it may be exposed to the AI or any this technical world and all of that. They're not exposed to this. So they have no idea what you're talking about.
I blame my mom.
And she did a good job, especially with teaching you and exposing you to different things. So that's what will always set people apart is their knowledge. I'll play a little bit more, and now I want to show something else
But not
on your
another,
page.
especially since these attributes are all empowered by perspective, because then we dive into the perspective of other variations of omnipotence. The problem I hear is how Heir to the Stars uses omnipotent at all in the verse. True omnipotence can be transcended. Meta omnipotence, which is beyond omnipotence, exists. Heir to the Stars demonstrates the interpretation of omnipotence in many ways. But of course, there are those that do not approve of omnipotence and Heir to the Stars because it does not fall under their definition. Oh, well. The fact that absolute, true, and balanced omnipotence is transcended does not debunk omnipotence. I go beyond using it as simply a boundless source of everything in the universe. It's not just basically beyond all. There are types of omnipotence. There isn't a black and white, or either you are omnipotent or not. There is transcending omnipotence. Just because the omnipotent of the verse was transcendent doesn't mean it wasn't omnipotent in the first place. This reasoning that likes to be played around with over 90% of conversations isn't relevant in Heir to the Stars. And to add to this, I'm not throwing words around that I do not understand to make my verse sound any type of way. Everything has a definition that you can understand. Everything is shown through demonstration. If the way I show my meanings through my work doesn't suit you, oh well. Just because some believe that I don't understand something doesn't mean it's not serious. Everything people say that I don't understand, I've thrown it back in their faces with not just one definition, but a collection of definitions and interpretations to show that I do understand it. At this point, people just don't want to accept what they've created their reality to be.
People are not going to understand people that are that have high intellect. And that's okay. We're all different. I want to look at some of now this is artwork that you've done on AI, or how did you do this artwork that you do?
That particular one you're looking at? Oh,
like say for instance, if we look at this.
I did that on this program called Reality. It's a 3D program which doesn't work no more.
Doesn't work anymore?
Nah, they moved over to DOS 3D.
Okay, and then I see that one.
Yeah, these are, except that one in the middle. That's 3D.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 3D.
Now, can you get paid for doing something like this?
I can.
But you just do it
Now
from home.
the ones you just went through before this lady, because she's 3D also. Those the ones prior to that was Photoshop.
Okay.
Yeah, like that. That's Photoshop. That's technically hand drawn, but then colored in with Photoshop.
Okay. Now, this is a real person.
Of course.
Okay. Well, I gotta ask because
hey, you're good.
Okay, so you got a lot of different things on here. I'm gonna go back on your page and find something else that you were talking about. I just thought some of it was interesting, and some of the artwork that you did, I thought it was really pretty. Like I'm gonna show you guys this and share this one with you guys. I thought that was really just gorgeous. Let's see, I think it was this one. Yes, it was this one. Now, how did you do this face?
No, that one's AI.
Okay. Is there some type of special programs to get to do this type of AI imagery, or what type of
Special types? No. But I am on Mid-Journey, and it depends on how deep you are in the program and how well you personalize the thing. I have done so for me. I have uploaded my sketches, my artwork from Coral Studios or from Photoshop. I have customized it to get a recognition on how I draw and the type of images I prefer, using the images as reference points. And Mid-Journey has learned how to recreate things that I would normally do.
Okay.
So honestly, it's just about the amount of effort you're going to put into it.
Okay. And this one here that I'm showing, you see it? Oh, you don't see this one. I was sharing another one. But you like I said, you're a very talented young man. I'm not gonna lie to you. But some of these women, boy, they be mad at you, Lionel, when
And they can be mad.
Let me play this.
Modern literature. Its complexity arises from its intricate hierarchies of power, a multitude of beyond-dimensional realities, and a wide array of characters who possess powers that often transcend traditional concepts of space, time, and physics.
And if you want to know any more about it, you need to visit www.airtothestars.com and go read it for yourself. Have fun.
Now, that's one of your friends.
Definitely not a friend, but someone that I got to do some promo for me.
Oh, okay. You said definitely not a friend. Crazy liar. But you're really funny. But yeah, I definitely have to go back and finish your interview.
But to touch on that, my story starts with me being born from an 11-year-old little girl in West Baltimore, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And our stories really start together, unfortunately, until we get out of the jungle and get to where we're at now.
I can't believe that. That's just crazy that your mother was 11 years old having a baby. Like, that's just out of this world. There was something that happened to you as a child too that I thought that was just it really was kind of it was kind of heartbreaking, to be honest with you.
I mean, that's generally both me and her story.
You're right.
A lot of heartbreaks. Realize adults aren't here to actually protect you unless they are in the mood to.
And adults can sometimes violate you too.
That's absolutely true. And it happens more often than people want to admit or talk about. I bring
Correct.
awareness to it also in these spaces, which really annoys people. And I notice it annoys a lot of men because they're the ones who don't like to talk about it, despite them being 90% of the ones doing it.
What happened to you as a child? We don't have to get into it, but
you're fine. I got interviews, and she got a whole documentary out.
Oh, she does?
Yeah.
When you were violated, like when you were young, how did you, from that being violated at a very young age, how did you get to where you are today? Because you seem to me to be, from outside looking in, very balanced. You seem very highly intelligent. How did you get from being violated so early at a young age, and then getting to where you are today? Did your mother have a lot to do with it, or was it a mentor, somebody in your life that kind of helped you to stay on the right path?
Well, it's generally a reflection of her. She doesn't allow for excuses. And I'm not saying that she was a certain type of way, but it just, when you know that this is a girl who's being assaulted from the age of 7 up until 19 every year of her life, just trying to survive, and and just moving up and down the East Coast and seeing how ruthless men are. We lived on Nightmare on Elm Street. This wasn't the Yellow Brick Road. Watching her get her kids taken from her, how she got manipulated by her family, watching everybody talk behind her back, and then when you really start to shape your perspective on how you're not going to be.
If you don't mind me asking, especially for those people that did not see your interview, who was the person that was violating your mother and violating you?
Depends on the age, depends on the time. Her number shoots into the double digits at a very dark rate. So that varies.
So who got your mother pregnant with you?
Some guy. Like, it's not like some random dude. She's trying to run away from her mom. Dude picks her up, has his way with her, throws her out in the rain. Mom eventually finds her. She's trying to run away from her mom because her mom won't protect her because mom's boyfriend is touching her. Or she'll send her to the babysitter, and then the babysitter is instructing her son to violate her. She understands that this woman will not protect her no matter what she says, so she's trying to run away. And then what happens when you run away? You just meet more men who want to take advantage of you.
Oh my God. So what happened when you for and this is again for those people that did not see it, what happened to you? I think it was at 3 years
It was
old.
at 3, unfortunately.
Okay, so what happened to you at 3 years old? Hey, young Riaz.
I suffered a very brutal beat down. Mom was at work, and someone she thought she trusted showed her the world once again that you can't trust people. Now, this situation clearly didn't last.
So he physically abused you. Did he sexually abuse you as well? Yes, to
Yes,
both.
both.
Wow. So with all of this violation from adults that were supposed to be protective or loving towards you, how do you deal with adults now?
I don't trust any of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the reality, though. How do you expect me to?
Exactly.
Just saying, like, it's just how the world was operating. And then you have, let's say I've had conversations with grown men and I'm telling them my story or my mom's story. These grown men would tell me that at 1 year old, I should have been protecting her. It's your fault. You need to be held accountable. Or they'll tell her, what did you do to these men to make them want to do this to you?
What?
And this is the reality that we had.
Bless your heart. That's cold blooded. Like I don't even. It's not funny. I'm not laughing
No,
at
you're good.
it, but it that is really cold blooded. Like
She had to drop. She had to drop out of school as well, mainly because the teachers were trying to assault her. She did transfer to another school before she dropped out, but the male teachers there was trying to assault her. And that's, I have when I talk off of my experience also, but people don't like hearing that.
So, Lionel, when you have different views on how, you see women, is it and I'm not going to say all women, but when I'm hearing you, it seems like you feel like majority of women are like this. Is it because of the things that you've been through and seen? And are you saying things for shock value, or are those really things that you believe?
It depends on It depends on what's happening.
Okay.
Depends on what y'all are saying. When I speak on stuff like this, I'm 1,000% dead serious.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I help women. I help women. I have rooms, too many rooms, and I help women and people that need a place to stay, people that need a safe place, people that need some type of therapy where their therapists aren't listening to them. and they're talking about their trauma. Women feel safe. They open up to me. And it's not just women. There are some boys too that have opened up, needed someone to talk to. Because I've been introduced to some horrific stories.
Wow.
But as my sister would like to say, my mom is the template for sexual abuse. And so every story I hear generally falls in a situation that's happened to her.
Mm-hmm. Well, Lionel, you're not looking for people to feel sorry for you, and I know that's not what I hope that you're not feeling from me. But
No, you're fine.
I definitely do have compassion for you because I hate that the little Lionel had to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like children should be protected, especially from that kind of thing. Any physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, all types of abuse. Like children, people should take care of their children and protect them. And for some reason, I'm not saying your mother didn't try to, because she did, from what you
No,
said.
she absolutely did. And I give nothing but credit to her. I mean, the girl was
Right.
12 years old trying to get paid under the table to work at this telephone company. Like, she was, because of Ronald Reagan's law, when she had me, she was an emancipated adult. And her mama straight told her she wasn't going to help her the second, because it's like, this isn't like some story where, oh man, we were still living with her mom and grandma helped. Grandma said, no, I'm not helping you.
Dang.
That was a wrap.
So, do your mom deal with her?
She still deal with her mom.
Okay.
It's not the best relationship. I deal with grandma a little bit.
Okay.
It's not the best relationship.
That's cold-blooded.
But it wasn't just that though, because this is where I say so many situations just keep piling on each other. So now it's like, okay, we'll be on the street for a second. Let's try to find some type of shelter. Obviously, we can't trust the shelters. Let's try to find auntie. Can we go to her? No. Can we go to one of the cousins? No. So here you have this 12, 13-year-old with a child trying to just maneuver in the world, and no one's trying to help her. They're telling her she's an adult.
This whole, my life was on something else, and it just changed just like that. But I am so sorry that happened to you, and my sorries can't take none of that away. I know that, but that is just, I'm really sorry that happened to you. But I really feel like it's made you into who you are today, though. Maybe but it's like, how do you? And I have a question to ask you from the audience. The word had stated this, and I'm gonna ask you the question. But I just really, I really hate that happened to you. I wish it didn't happen to you. But the good thing that happened out of it, you are the young man that you are today. You're highly intelligent. You're also a person that you have compassion for people, and I don't think some people may not give you credit for it. You have compassion for people, and you want to help people that have been through what you've been through, or even things that you haven't been through. So that shows that you have some type of compassion, empathy, and sympathy for others. So I would like to tell you, even though you went through what you've been through, it made you into the great young man that you are today.
Hey, I appreciate it.
That's a blessing. The word said, I got a question. Did you learn from them experiences, or do you just accept what has happened? What has happened? I asked because you stated you don't trust anyone.
Everybody lies. Everybody has a personification that they want to show you. a representation that they want to show you. People will tell you that they don't. You learn very quickly they don't see it, but it's there. And you learn it very harshly as a child growing up and seeing the adults, and you learn it even better as an adult watching how other adults operated. Now, but just because I don't fully give anyone trust don't mean no, I don't have a homie or anything like that. But if I sit here and tell women point blank, yeah, I'm going to trust my mom before I trust any of y'all. I'm dead serious.
Right.
Like, but I also have, like, I have a, what do you call it? I have a lack in faith. Life has created that lack in faith. And whenever people try to tell me certain things, I tell them an experience. And it's like an instant counter I have, because it's like, then why did this happen?
Mm-hmm. So you have like a defense from, maybe some things that people may tell you, especially if you've been through certain things. You're like, okay, but why did that have to happen? If you're saying, basically, let me give you an example. People tell you God is good all the time. So why did this happen?
Hell no. Yeah,
So that's what you
my
would
bad.
say.
I instantly react.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
I watched my mom fall up a balcony at the church and watched how a whole bunch of people chose not to help her. And she got taken to the hospital eventually, and she ended up having my brother. He was a premature baby born at 1 pound and couldn't cry, could barely talk, couldn't move his arms, couldn't move his legs. He had heart problems. We watched this boy be on a machine for the next 10 years. We watched him have 2 near-death attacks because his heart gave out. Just to add on to her situation.
Is he still living today?
Yeah.
Okay. So the word said it's one who experienced the worst in life, who appreciates life the most. Shout out to that brother.
Hey, appreciate it. Hey, I walk around with a smile now, and it's actually genuine despite what people want to think.
Well, again, I have to say, if anybody here has ever heard Lionel on some other panels, he gets people in their feelings. But for some reason, I don't know what it was, I just never got in my feelings about Lionel. I felt like Lionel, despite of how he may come across, I just felt like he was a sweetheart. I don't know why, but he really gets people up in their feelings. The word says again, it says it's not that you don't trust, you just don't give it away. Is that a better way to say it?
Okay, I can use that.
You said, ask that brother if he can subscribe. I would love to talk to him. I wish he could hit the panel out with me, fam. Okay, you just put your link in the chat, the word, and Lionel can sub up.
I'll go in there and sub.
Derry, I am so sorry about that. You lost your older brother in a crib death. That's SIDS. Okay, I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's a horrible way for any baby or child to die. So I'm really sorry about that. It's horrible. But yeah, you need to really I wish you need to write a book.
Well, she's writing a book. The mom, she's writing a book.
Yeah, she is. I'm talking about you writing your own book.
I write books, just not on this.
Okay, I got you. So you see his page?
Yeah, I'll see. I'll go and get it.
Okay. Yeah, so go up and sub up to the word, and he has a lot of interesting topics. because you definitely have a story you can tell, and I gotta have you back up, especially when we're talking about these men and women, because you be ripping these women up.
And it comes from also, again, I help them, and these women are crazy, but at the same time they're also victims, so I can separate what they're going through versus a lot of the crazy crap they tell me.
You said I'm an orphan at 42. Like I said, we all go through things. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on in people's lives. We all have some things in life that happen, and we just learn to move on from. But you know what? I am curious, Lionel. Why did you never gave me really a hard time like you give other people?
You
Why
haven't
is
said
that?
nothing. You've said nothing to trigger me yet. That's all. You just said nothing to trigger me.
Well, thank you that I didn't trigger you, because it's definitely, if I do trigger you, it's definitely not intentional. But you never gave me a hard time, which I thought was pretty unusual.
No, it's not unusual. Some people don't get it because they don't say nothing stupid or crazy. If you don't trigger me, I don't have nothing to say.
Well, shout out to that, Lionel. And I didn't say anything stupid or crazy. Shout out to that. I usually try to think before I speak, but there is times where I just shoot straight from the hip, and it might not sound so sweet, but it's
But that's
definitely,
good. That's okay.
yeah. Sometimes you have to be that way. So, but I appreciate you, Lionel. I've been up here for how many hours? I've been up here, maybe 2 hours. Oh, almost 3, 2 hours and 52 minutes.
Look how time
So,
goes by.
yeah, that it definitely was. And like I said, if you ever go back to replay just a little bit of my live, be careful about some of these women putting spells on you, boy. They will try to get you and hook you in. So just be careful.
I'm honored though.
Why?
You're gonna put that much effort on me?
Oh well, no, I'm just saying, you're so silly. I'm just saying, like, you just have to be careful because, like I said, I feel like you're a nice young man. And I have a lot of great people over here. And I just want to inform people that regardless of what your belief system, some of this stuff to some people is really real. So you definitely have to be careful of who you interact with and who you sleep with and all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of inform people about that. So that was the reasoning for doing this live. Even for me, I have to be careful as a young woman to watch my moves. So, but yeah, I
You
appreciate.
don't always know though.
No, you don't. I don't care how long you know someone, even you feel like your discernment is keen. You still will miss some things.
Real quick,
Right?
because
Real quick.
someone it was in another show, and this is where I actually had to come at them because they said something stupid, and they was talking about how certain issues, let's say like predators, they only operate in basically low areas. And I was like, wait, what? And they was like, you can, read the signs. And I said, no, you can't. And I'm like, there's too many child protective service cases that clearly debunk your entire argument.
That part.
This is coming from a woman. Of course it is. So now I have to sit here and get real because it's stupidity that's coming out of her mouth, and it's also alarming that this is how she thinks. And it's like, you got children, so how are you saying that? Because this is going to happen in rich areas or the hood or middle class area. It doesn't matter where. You're going to get it everywhere.
Right. Like Tashana was saying, the spirit of perversion is everywhere. It's not just for the poor people or the black people. It can be anybody at any social economic level. Right?
Right.
There's so I hate when people limit it for the people in the ghetto or the people that are minorities, you know what I'm saying? Or the people that are foreigners. It happens everywhere, unfortunately, from the all the way up to the high to the down, So we definitely have to stop being so naive, and stop being so just narrow-minded that we can't see things for what they really are,
I'm with
So
you 100%.
exactly, Lionel. But shout out to you. I got to get you back on. One day I'll let you know.
Yeah,
But
just let me know.
I definitely feel like you would be another good voice to have. I would like to do a men's panel within the next week, maybe when I have that 4-day weekend off from work. I want to have a men's panel, and I want you to be one of those voices to come up and just give me your perspective on certain things. And
Just let me know when.
I sure will. I definitely will. You will be one of those that will I will reach out to and tell you, hey, come on up if you got some time. All right.
Well, it's been fun, Selena. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Love you to Reese's Pieces. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for hanging in there with me. Look, it's been almost 3 hours, and that's not like me. I have been planning to get off maybe an hour ago. And then Life with Tashana came in with her story that was awesome. It really you guys need to check out her story as well. Then we had Lionel come up, and I just wanted to show his channel and how talented this young brother is. You guys need to check him out. And I just wanted to really just be on here and be off, but it is what it is. Hey, Cooley, how are you? I haven't seen you in a minute. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for coming through, coming by and showing your girl some love. It's good to see you. I had my boy Tyreek. I ain't seen him in forever. I hadn't seen him in my chat, for a minute, but glad that he's back. And good to see you, Cooley. But yeah, you working long hours, honey. I've been working long hours too. Once I want my full-time job, I'm going to my part-time job. Then I'm hitting the book. So I'll be busy all the time. You said, Selena, you're so beautiful. Every time I see you, you're like seeing a beautiful star of the universe. Oh, right. Randy, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I used to pray this prayer to that God would help me to be beautiful inside and out, because really you can be beautiful on the outside, but if your inside sucks, you in bad shape. So I'm working on both and trying to get to the gym as much as possible, in my busy schedule. And just working on my heart and getting my attitude under control. But I appreciate you, Randy. A star. Thank you. I will talk to you guys later. I got some homework to do. And but yeah, love y'all to Reese's Pieces. Thank you so much, guys. Russell, everybody that helped out with the super chats. At least I reached my goal. So I appreciate you guys for that. What else I want to say? Yeah, I had a great live. So the main part of all of this, what I was talking about is just please be careful who you entertain, because who you entertain can definitely create more problems in your life that you don't need. You said hope to catch your life from the. Thank you so much, Cooley. Yeah, when you're at work and you having a long, I would say, a long work shift, just go back to the beginning and see what I was talking about. I showed some videos at the beginning, and it basically just solidifies my, I would say, commentary from the things that I have seen and heard. And like I said, being having ancestry coming from Louisiana to Texas, and seeing hearing stories of what my grandmother went through, To me, y'all can call it power suggestion or you could call it black magic. I don't know, but it is definitely something y'all better pay attention to. You said you need to get a smaller bowling ball. Honey, yeah, bowling is not my cup of tea. But you know what? One thing I will say, I am doing things that I never really liked doing. And if you guys go back and look at my short, someone invited me to a Texas Rangers game last night, and I had one of the best times, really, to be honest with you. So I'm learning to kind of get out of my not get out of my shell, but I'm learning to try new things that probably before I wouldn't be like, I don't want to do that, you know. But sometimes you got to get out and get out of yourself, out of your regular things, and try something new, you know, sometimes. So I don't know about that, Derry. I mean, bowling maybe every now and then. And I think the ball I did have was it was small enough for me to hold. It wasn't that heavy. And so, you know, I just did the best I could, honey. I did the best I could. But shout out to Derry for that. Y'all, love y'all to Reese's Pieces. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Selena. It's a bad baby. Oak Cliff girl. Can't make you change my world. Damn, you're so fine, girl. Oak Cliff girl. Put them heels on and prove.
Welcome to Selena's Couch, where you are welcome to be free to be yourself. So you can lay your head on my couch, on my pillows.
It's all good, we can do whatever we wanna do now. I'm in my bag right now, and I got a feeling, babe, yeah. You gon' be my number one lover. Spend the night making love to each other. With the lights on top of the covers. Just me and you, and I feel like you're my
love you to Reese's Pieces.
Get you a word. Nana boo boo.